It's Friday, August 15th, 2025. Let's start off as we always do by saying if you want to support our show, you can go to supportourshow.com. And slight update, I'm pretty sure that our code does work. So if you use code OZONE, I now have to bump the percentage up from 50-50 to, I would say, 65-35, because I went to one of these things that Libsyn does where they want to get feedback and everything else, and they mentioned the affiliate codes, which means that that program is still in action. And as I have not been told that ours was terminated, I am therefore connecting the dots.
Unless they didn't know themselves, that'd be funny.
No, although I think we are now eligible to do ad insertion, but I don't think I'm going to do that because I really hate it when everybody else does it. So
that sounds obscene.
Well, it's you've heard it. It's when they have it's not when it's host read. It's just automatically placed in, and they try to get it correctly. But it's so bad, and it often repeats the same ones over and over and over.
I think that would somehow cheapen the already cheap flavor of the show.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it only because
you know what?
No, I would warn everybody before I did it.
Unless it's ads for like Suicide Girls. I wouldn't mind that.
Well, okay. That's the thing is I think you can choose the types. So depending on what's available, if there are hardcore porn ads, I'll put them in. I don't care. God. That's what I'm saying. No. If it's funny, I'll put them in.
Oh, man.
Like
if hardcore porn ads in the middle of this show. Jeez.
Whew. I mean, why not? I mean, we delve into those topics every 5 shows episode anyway, so who cares? But yeah, I'm going to look into how much control there is. And if there is control,
plugs into the base aspect of humanity, yeah.
Well, I'm going to go one side of the fence or way the other. It would either be hardcore porn or it would be something really ridiculous like, I don't know, spatula cleaning services. You know, something like that that's just completely ridiculous. Yeah. That I would have no problem with. I'd want to hear you know what? Honestly, if they have awful ads, those are the ones I'm going to pick. I mean, badly produced. That's what I want. I want ads you will laugh at. You know, that's like the Ram ad.
Yeah, it's a slippery.
It's a joke, even though they don't think it is.
It's a slippery slope.
No, I'm not going to make any secret about it. I'm not going to pretend that this is something I endorse or whatever. No. There's going to be none of that. None of that. None of the artifice that many others construct over, the only VPN I use, except until next year when this company pays me to use their VPN or whatever. There's going to be none of the illusion that we are in any way connected to it. And so we would be completely outside of it. I doubt it would even work. Hey, I don't think we'd have anybody clicking through.
I support Pornhub.
That's what I'm saying. Is I if there's something that's pro sex workers, I'm there. I'm fine with that. I doubt there will be. I just can't imagine there's a lot of ads in that space that, you know.
Is Pornhub pro sex worker? I don't know about that.
No. Well, you said Pornhub. I'm talking about sex workers in general. I'm saying that's why I said hardcore porn as a blanket term.
I don't think you can advertise for sex work. Well, not in this state anyway where I am. Actually, not in California either. It's not legal in California, right?
Well, no. Okay, no, it is. It depending on what you're talking about. You can call a sex line. They still exist. You can do that.
Oh, that's sex line.
work.
So I meant like prostitution. Prostitution's legal in Las Vegas.
No, I don't. I don't think you could. But I don't think. But okay, this is the thing though. With ad insertion, it localizes it. So in theory, if I were to opt in only for legal brothel services in those states, they would hear it. But in California, you wouldn't. You would just hear there would be nothing. See, that's what's neat about it. Is actually there might be really weird things. I would hope it'd be just an array of checkboxes.
If you can make enough money to pay for the servers and the upkeep.
Oh, I doubt I ever would. But there's a humor element. Like if it was like furry conventions, I'd choose that. Or into bubblegum being popped on my balls, I'd check that. Stuff like that.
I wish there were enough furry conventions to warrant needing advertising.
I don't know. Honestly, that there's not a lot of money in that space.
I think if there were more furries in the world, it might be a better place.
I don't disagree. That's why I'm saying if the checkbox was present, it would become checked.
If all the kinks to take over the world, furries would be adorable.
Well, that or I'm sure there's some version of a Virgin Mary thing where it's washing feet. I'm sure there's something like that.
I don't think you could be a violent hate monster and be a furry. Like it just does. They don't seem to be. I'm sure it happens, but like.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens, but is it a subgenre? Probably not. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like
abusive furry is a thing. I don't think, but I don't know. I don't know enough. Maybe there's like a subgenre of badgers.
No, you know what? I don't know
Wolverines.
Enough about
they're
furries,
supposed to be mean,
and I should learn more about them just for information's sake.
Is there a sub thing of it where you dress up as an orca and then you try to drown somebody and that's a turn on? I don't know. Could be.
What like homicidal
SeaWorld fantasy?
Homicidal furryism, I guess.
Yeah, or the danger thing. I mean, people choke each other until
Yeah, but that's
stuff.
But that again, that would be a separate, specific offshoot from being a furry. It'd be like an asphyxiating furry.
No, hold on. It could be somebody in an orca suit who's choking you underwater while doing something. I don't know. Look, the mechanics of sex are so vast. Anytime I think I've got an edge case, there's one further out.
It's not just about sex. It's about arousal. That's what a lot of these things are about.
I'm not boxing that into a physical act. I'm talking about the whole spectrum. See, I'm encompassing all of it. Like my Baldur's Gate 3 character, I am open to everything, anywhere. I don't care. I want ads that are like that. I would love to hear that there's some kind of very specific level down thing that we can advertise.
End up with ball sack shavers and things like that. That's what a lot of ads.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be in the mix.
Yeah.
But actually what would be the other side that would be amusing is, speaking of VPNs, is, okay, let's say that there's 10 VPNs.
Yeah.
I just check them all. And then there's no preference.
Does Shudder advertise?
I wish. Listen, if Criterion advertised, I would freely do that.
Criterion's pretty big, but Shudder, they seem kooky enough to have kind of weird advertising.
They might, yeah. I don't. Like I said, they just happen to say that now it's kind of open to everybody. So I have to look into it and see what the actual details are. I'm not just going to opt into something without knowing what it's actually entailing.
No, you should never do that. Yeah.
So all I'm saying though is there is the potential for hilarity in that, because
Yeah, I know, but the thing is. It won't be funny for us only because we won't know what they are.
Oh, no, I would listen to them with a thing to anonymize. I'd want to hear it. Oh, I'd listen to it. Because I know that they said you can preview them, so I would preview them.
Oh, you can? That's even funnier.
Oh, yeah. So it's going to be one of two things. If I do it, which I would warn everybody way ahead of time, and I would give okay, let me know if you're against this. I'm not going to do it for another month. And if people suddenly said no, don't ever do it.
Well, you should ask them right now. Listen, are you against it?
Well, I'm kind of floating the rough idea, but I don't even know whether it's workable. So I'm not saying this is actually happening because I haven't looked into it enough. And if there is not that control that they've said there is, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to make it random. There's not going to be that. I'm not. No, because then there could be. I don't want the possibility that some type of hateful thing, even in a far-off connection, somehow makes it on. I don't want to even be attached to anything like that. But if it is something where you can select it, then it's either going to be way out on the fringes where we won't make any money because it's way out on the fringes, or it's going to be hilariously bad, in which case we won't make any money because it'll be hilariously bad. But either way,
we won't make from it any money, which is kind of the MO of this show.
And that's what I'm saying is I'm not without going in.
Oh man, that should be the tagline.
Explicit goal.
No money, no audience, just laughs.
Yeah,
and reviews.
That's kind of it. It is it. It's not inaccurate, but that's what I'm saying. Is it would be that. I
actually have reviews tonight, though.
I know.
Yeah. So.
Wait. Oh.
Do you have more?
Oh no, I'll do that when I do my review. That's right. I'll tie it in there. There's a programming note, but it ties in the book. Go ahead.
So I'm doing my reviews first tonight because they're not good, and Joe doesn't like to end on a bummer, which I appreciate that. I do. So I'm going to give you the minor bummer and then the big bummer.
Okay, that's the show title right there. The Big Bummer. I just like it. Just sounds good. All right, good. Got it.
So I love Daniel Warren Johnson. He's a graphic novel writer.
Oh no!
Yeah, hold on. There are caveats to this. Okay.
Okay, good.
I guess why I said it's a minor bummer. So Daniel Warren Johnson, I love his stuff. I mean, his Beta Ray Bill book is fantastic, and Murder Falcon is literally my favorite graphic novel of all of them that exist. So for a long time, I've been trying to track down a copy of his first book, to my knowledge, called Space-Mullet. And for the longest time,
we talked about this on the last show or something.
I couldn't get a copy for the longest time because I don't fucking know why. These things were going for like hundreds of dollars because some stupid algorithm in the used book system online was basically just, driving them through the roof. I hate that so much. So anyway, I was finally able to get a copy of this book at a normal amount, I guess, for a graphic novel. And here's the thing. I'm not unhappy that I read it. I'm glad that I read it, and I still think people should read it. However, it is his first graphic novel, so you've got a lot of the weaknesses that you get in a first-time project. In the same way that if you see, Fincher's first movie, which is that Alien 3? Is Alien 3 his first movie?
Might be his first studio feature.
There will be problems.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Space-Mullet overall, it's interesting. Its biggest weakness is that I feel like it was supposed to be part of a larger story, that there was supposed to be more to it, and that he didn't get back to it. Because it's basically, it's 75% there's two stories that intersect, and like it's 75% one team and then like 25% the second team kind of in this book, and they do intersect, but when they intersect it's almost kind of like it's weird. So the main story is basically an ex-marine, a space marine, who was part of a assault on a planet to basically break the public that was essentially like a poor class of people that were rising up for better rights, and they sent in the I guess the human hegemon sent in the Marines to crush them. And when they got down there, the guy who was in charge of this Marine unit basically was like, fucking kill them all, break them, and the main guy didn't want anything to do with it. And then and that's like the beginning of it. And then flash forward, he's living on a ship, very Millennium Falcon. He's a space trucker. He has an alien co-pilot, and the two of them are trying to stay off the radar. And it's a great setup. He's haunted. He's got a really funny little like oversized pencil mustache, which at first I didn't like, and then I found very endearing by the end. Because it's like like an oversized John Waters, who has that horrible pencil.
Mustache.
It's an oversized John Waters mustache, and he's got an oversized John Waters mustache and a mullet. It's a fucking amazing look, and it grows on you. And so you have these two, and they get an offer, basically from one of the other guy that was in that Marine unit, who basically says to the main character, "Hey, there's a guy out in one of these far off planets that's got proof that it was a a slaughter fest, and he's got video proof, and we want that video proof. We don't want it to get out. And you know how bad this is because you were there. And if you go do it, I will not have the military kind of. You won't be on the bad side of the Marines anymore." And the main guy says, "Fine, I'll do it." Even though his alien friend, what the hell is his friend's name? Man, lately, Alpheus. There you go. Alpheus is his name. And humans are massively racist towards aliens. Right? There's aliens all over the place, but the humans most humans treat them like shit. So Alpheus gets treated like crap, and the main guy, his name is Jonah. That's the main guy. Jonah and him are friends. They're good, but like everybody else treats Alpheus like shit. And they go to this alien planet, and when they get there, they realize that it's not at all what this guy said it was, and that really what it was is that they were trying to find the remains of the survivors from that event, and also get Jonah out in a place where they could essentially eliminate him because he's the last real witness from this, right? And hilarity ensues. Now, up to that, it's actually a really interesting, fun book. You've got these two guys who are, you don't know much about Alpheus, but you've got Jonah, who's kind of this broken past. You've got weird worlds. You've got a half broken down ship. Jonah's got all this Marine training, but he's a space trucker. And even in the introduction, the guy Johnson says that he looks at this book now and he realizes how bad it is from like an art perspective, because he's like, all my points of views were weird and blah blah blah. And up to that point in the book, it's actually a really interesting, fun read where now they're dealing with the Marines, and there's also the crime bosses who are on this alien planet who are pissed off with them, and it's an all-out battle, and all hell's breaking loose. And in the penultimate moment of that, Alpheus gets wounded, really gravely wounded. And Jonah's like, shit, I gotta save my man. And he gets off the planet with Alpheus in intensive care, and they pick up another little psychic alien who's a child of what Alpheus is. I cannot for the life remember what Alpheus was, but basically his type of alien. This little telekinetic child who basically Tetsuo helps him at one point. And Jonah's like, you're coming with us. And they're heading for a satellite off of Mars that's basically a big city. And he's hoping that he can get main medical care for Alpheus. Now, this is where the book kind of takes off. I feel like if he just stuck with Jonah and Alpheus' story, it would have worked. But he tries to bring in other elements now. The other elements is that there's a girl who's on the Mars station, and she owes money to the mob. And essentially they're playing rollerball from Battle Angel Alita. That's what they're absolutely playing.
Motorball.
Motorball. But it's but in this it's more like rollerball because they've got the weapons and everything like they did in the movie, with the James Caan movie. And she's coming up through the ranks, and she's told that she has to throw this race. That basically she owes the mob that. And she doesn't want to throw the race because it's taken her all this time to get to the top. So she's got this kind of minor storyline going on at the same time. And then they throw in another element, which is that she's got some ex-partner or somebody who's some kind of like military mercenary type who's basically working rescue, and he's supposed to meet with her. So like you see, basically he sets up that this guy is like an unstoppable fucking killing force, and then that he's going to see the girl, the rollerball girl, right? So you're like, okay, now we've got we got three components here, okay, and then Jonah meets this doctor, and she's living on the Mars station. She feels horrible about how the violence towards aliens, and she feels terrible about the racism, and she basically decides to help Jonah. Because when Jonah gets there, they won't accept his insurance, and they won't treat an alien. They're like, take him someplace else. We don't care if he dies. So there's all these very interesting elements about poverty and racism, and it's really good. He just loses sight because he wants to bring all these other things in. And like, there's at one point or another, Jonah decides he's going to bet his ship on the rollerball race to try to make the money to basically save Alpheus. And there's this whole thing in there about how his dad used to bet on rollerball, and there's all these like kind of allusions to like his father having this big gambling problem, and how he realizes it's wrong, but he doesn't know what else to do, and then it all kind of comes together right at the very fucking end. But it I don't want to feel it feels contrived. It just feels like there should be more to it. Like all the elements intertwine in a final moment, but then there isn't enough of a after effect to it. I guess in that respect, it's very much like all these European cop movies that we've watched that, like they end on the final shot, right? You don't even know what happens. They just fire the last shot and you're like, boom, that's the end of the movie, right?
No need to go past here, everybody. We're done. And we're out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the book ends with a lot of unanswered questions, like a fucking ton of them. And I, as a writer, I was like, okay, man, I really like your stories, but there are so many loose ends to this one. And the art, listen, it's his style art, which has always been messy. I like it. It works for me. I like the world that it occupies. I like the characters. I like that they are seated in a kind of it's like sci-fi realism, and that there's ships and there's planets and all this shit, but you know what? There's poverty and there's racism and there's all this stuff that we're dealing with. It just has been kind of extended into this larger universe. In that respect, it's all very good, but it's like I said, if he just stuck with Jonah and Alpheus and their story, I feel like it would have been a lot better. And instead, he steps away from them and he starts bringing in these other elements. And that's where the story itself gets very weak. And it's the first time I've gotten to the end of a Johnson book and been like, okay. And that's not normally the reaction. I usually read his books and I'm like, that was fantastic. And I'm pretty sure that he did the one after this about the artist that they cut her arm off. And it's the whole thing. Like, she spends the whole book, like, she's a warrior, but she spends the whole book trying to figure out how to draw with her left hand. Which I can't remember what was that one called. But, like, this is the beginning of the evolution of what turns out to be a very good writer, artist, comic guy. Right? I mean, like, all his work after this is very good. This is the first one. As the first one, it's not great. It's good, but it's not great. I've read first ones that were far worse, and people didn't evolve much beyond that. I'm glad I read it. I like the world. I like some of the characters in it. And the fact that I got to the end and I wasn't like, fuck this. Like, I got to the end and I was like, but what happens to Jonah and Alpheus? Like, I was engaged with the characters and I want to see what, but like, they never really explained the psychic child and, the rollerball girl and her ex-partner, who's some kind of big old tank alien looking dude, doesn't explain why they were separated. And, is he an alien or has he just got a horrible, is it some kind of robot head? Like there's a lot of unanswered questions. And I think that's one of the things that makes it really weak. So like I said, first half is great. Second half wanders. And I imagine if there was a second volume to this.
Yeah, that mustache is highly disturbing.
Oh, and I tell you, I hated it when I first started reading it.
It looks like his mouth. I keep thinking it's his mouth as I'm looking through this.
But by the end, it grows on you.
Well, yeah, I guess, but at first, because you think it's his mouth. It looks like that his mouth is his chin. God, it is really hard not to see it that way. That his mouth is his chin.
But in the story, when you see him talking and moving, you get used to the fact that it's...
No, I'm looking at it, but there's so much of him just looking.
I know,
because a lot of the words where he's talking, the mouth's not open. It's just a line. So it still looks like his... I mean, it doesn't matter. I think you can look at it that way. I do like the blue tone thing, too.
Yeah, see, so it's not...
limited color palette.
Yeah, it's blue and white and gray, I guess.
Yeah,
What is it?
Blue, white, and black.
Blue light. There you go.
It's blue monotone.
Yeah,
blue
and like
monochrome,
I like his like I said, I like his design. There's
now,
stuff
the artwork
in here.
you could see it's all there. The artwork is there.
Yeah, oh yeah, like there's a lot of there's
there's
stuff
the
in here that
goblin.
reminds me a lot of Appleseed. Remember
Yeah.
Appleseed?
Oh yeah, I see it. So
sure.
No, I can see
There's
it.
a lot of that. There's a lot of Star Wars in here. There's a lot of
the vests with all the pockets and the
oh
guns.
yeah, yeah. It's something I love the look of it. You know, like this is a science fiction space B movie that I would have loved watching.
This feels like something the Cowboy Bebop guy would have animated.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
but
I could
again,
see him adapting this.
The problem with the story is that he just lost sight. You know, he lost sight, or the script got cut, because I get the sense, like, was this really supposed to be a volume 1 and it's supposed to be the beginning of a larger story? If so, a lot of the sins are forgiven.
Jeez.
But the fact that there's only one volume and it's a complete story, and like it is a complete story in that the Marine kind of makes peace with what happened to him, and he saves his partner, and they survive, right? And they get out from under this out from under this mess they're in. So in that respect, it's like a Tarantino movie, right? A main guy gets in a mess, has to get out of it, right? And then the end is dealing with the mess, right? There's a complete story in here, but there are loose end elements that are unlike him. That usually he either knows not to start them, or he finishes them once he brings them in. You know what I mean? Like, I get the sense that the rollerball girl is supposed to be a larger character in this. So is her partner. But again, I don't even know if it's an ex-boyfriend or if it's a sibling or like what the fuck it is. Like, they have a relationship, and it's never really nailed down. And to my knowledge, like I said, there are no more of these. He did this, and then it says that one. Yeah,
you're totally right. This is definitely an Alita style thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, you see them. Yeah, when you see them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like even the Coliseum and like the big guy with all the tattoos looks like,
and the suits and things like that. Yeah. And
it's
the
all
only thing
very,
is they're on roller skates. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's almost like he took every influence.
They're not cyborgs, right? I don't think any of these are cyborgs either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other
he
difference.
took every influence and he kind of mishmashed it together into a fun book. Yeah, and I mean, like, I enjoy all of that. The world is good. The characters are good. Yeah. So the only weakness, like I said, is that it's the second half. The writing just wanders off, and you get to the end and you have so many questions that aren't answered. So this is what I mean by it's a minor bummer.
Oh yeah, there's end. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh wow, that creature looks like an alien queen, but with lots of eyes.
Yeah, so like, you know, the book ends and the mob is after the one girl, and then, you know, and the doctor dies that was trying to help Jonah, but she gives him her money so he can save Alpheus, and like it just feels like this should have been more. So
well, it was self-published, so maybe it was a thing where he was
so I mean, this is his first book. So I give a lot of allowances for a first book. This is the first time you figured it all out and put it together. Right? Listen, in the same sense that my first book wasn't a fucking winner, right? It was all there. There are characters, there's a storyline, but, you know, you can see the weaknesses. Same thing here. You can see the weaknesses. But if you love Daniel Warren Johnson and you love...
Not in the artwork, that's for sure. The artwork is...
No, his art's great. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
This is not a Mignola situation where it's like, no, it's all here.
He talks about in the introduction how like he thinks like some of his perspectives are bad or some shit. I didn't see anything in this book. The only weird thing art-wise in this book is that the main guy's got that amazing he's got like a Dolly Waterhouse
that's my biggest problem with it.
You know? And the funny thing is, if you see the cover, right? No, so even in color, because the color has them in cover.
I thought that too for a second.
No, but even with color, it doesn't work. It's just a weird mustache.
It is, because a lot of times the guy's mouth isn't open, so it doesn't fix it. I'm looking through this thing, and a lot of times it's just a word bubble coming out of there.
And you always want to think it, and you do, is it his mouth? And you're like, it's not his mouth, it's his little zippy mustache.
The other thing, and this is going to sound strange, well, maybe it doesn't, is I don't really... With a person whose art style is like this, I'm not expecting good perspectives. I think it should be warped.
Well, no,
because he's not doing, you know.
No, I think what's great about Johnson's art is that it's very kinetic. He has a
That's what I mean. It's not like his anatomy is correct. I'm looking at it and it's not, but it doesn't matter.
No. His main guy, Jonah, he's like very big in the upper body, kind of smaller legs. I mean, but everybody is like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there's
some of the women are a little differently proportioned, but
he has a consistent cartoon.
Yeah, it all looks
concept.
But of course, you know, the problem we're making here is we're assuming the mindset of the artist, and his mind, maybe perspective, has to be consistent, even if everything else is distorted.
Listen. The nature of an artist is that you always look at the things that you've made and you go, I can see the breaks. I can always see
perspective. Never bothers me about Sam Keith. That's for goddamn sure. I'm
fine
with that.
But I'm sure if he spoke to Sam Keith, he'd be like, "Oh, I hate this and I hate that, and look at all the stuff he did." So, and I give him credit, the fact that he can look at it and go, it's not perfect.
Wait, so is the very end just the woman walking away saying, did he ever really love you? That's the last shot?
No. The last shot is, hold on.
Because I see him at the end, sister, how could you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And that's the last one that's published online.
No, the last shot is basically, he's on the ship with, So he, So essentially what happens is the rollerball girl doesn't throw the fight, she wins it, and Jonah loses the money and fucking loses it. And then when he's leaving, he bumps into the rollerball girl who's running from the mob because she just fucked them over. And he comes around this corner into a bathroom where the rollerball girl is getting a beatdown from the mob. And it's funny because Jonah walks in, they look over to him, and you're not really sure whether Jonah's going to help her or not. In fact, that's a question that never gets answered, because right then the doctor woman that Jonah has actually been getting really close to walks in, and they shoot her. And she basically falls down, at which point Jonah's in it. And then the rollerball girl's partner shows up and starts fucking ripping people apart. I mean, he fucking literally comes through a wall. But it's this funny. I actually like that in the writing, which is that you didn't know whether Jonah was going to help her or not. Jonah was so pissed off about her, and yet in that moment, the way he's drawn, I can't tell. I thought he was. So what's
the last thing? Yeah.
So the last thing is that basically the doctor leaves Jonah her money, because she had all this money saved up to basically leave the ghettos, and she gives it to Jonah to save Alpheus. And the last shot is Alpheus and Jonah on the ship, and Jonah basically talking about the doctor and what a good person she was, and Alpheus saying, I would have liked to have met her, and Jonah was like, I would have liked to have met her too. And the last shot is basically the Alpheus, Jonah, and the psychic baby standing there looking out the airlock at space, and it just says, it just says the end. He's holding her crushed glasses in his hand.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah.
Is there more? Is there more that I'm not...
Well, that's the thing is I'm looking because Hold on. Oh, no. You only went halfway through. You're missing 4 chapters.
Really?
There's 8. Yeah, I'm looking at the entire thing is published on the web, and what you're talking about is the end of chapter 4.
Interesting.
And there's 8 chapters. Ah, hurrah! Maybe it's not so bad.
Oh, well, there you go.
Review to be continued.
Yeah, if there's a volume 2...
Well, that's because I was looking at the last shot of it, and I'm like, well, this looks like...
the volume 2? Does volume 2...
It's all online. He published the entire thing on the web. That's how I was looking at it, to see what the art was like.
So it hasn't been published. That's why.
Yeah, because this looks like it has an ending. From what I could,
hold on.
It doesn't look like a happy ending, but it looks like an ending.
It's not. It's not that kind of book. But yeah,
so it looks like he stopped at that. Yeah, because I see the picture of the glasses. He's looking out the window like Empire Strikes Back, and it's got him holding the glasses, and it says end. But then I hit next, and it's got Space-Mullet Chapter 5.
Oh,
and it starts off with them on the ship, and he says,
I wonder if there's another.
Yeah, so that's volume 1.
Oh, so apparently this is getting a reissue. Because he worked on Transformers. I don't even want to read his Transformers run. I'm not that interested, but the fact that he did it has gotten him a lot of
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to link the complete run.
Image is resurrecting the prolific creator's cult webcomic, Space-Mullet, in a deluxe reprinted collection that features remastered lettering and includes a never-before printed chapter of Warren's gritty project, which began over a decade ago. Okay. Yeah, link it to me, man, because I want to fucking read it too.
I'll link it to you. Yeah, here. Yeah, because I was like, well, I was looking to find the book to buy, and I saw that it was there.
As a book, if this is the only volume, then yeah, I have problems. Whereas if
it isn't.
The thing is, if it isn't, then there's hope, right?
Yeah, jump to chapter 4 and look at the last shot, and that's what you're talking about. Unless I'm wrong, make sure you can check.
Yeah, okay.
Because it looks like it was all published
the whole
in 2016.
thing's online. Oh,
it is.
That's
good quality.
Fantastic.
Because I'm like, I can read this on the iPad. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so fantastic. The whole thing's online.
And that's why when you were saying it, I'm like, well, this looks like there's an ending. So what is the last shot? To make sure, because I thought maybe he had published an epilogue online.
No,
Sometimes they do that.
Only chapter 4 was only that first section was. Hold on, I'm trying to see get to it.
Yeah, so we really can't call this a review yet.
Well, I can listen. I can review chapter 1. And now that I know that there isn't more, then I can tell you that if it is the first volume, then it's a great story. You know,
well,
I can excuse a lot of the issues.
It looks like, because it does say end on that shot, so it does look like that was meant to be a cliffhanger for the next.
Yeah,
like that is the first arc, and then you're getting more.
I'm still trying to get to the end of this chapter.
Oh, you just go to the top. It's got a little selector. You just pick the last page. Chapter 6, whatever
jump
page.
to. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, jump to. It's the bottom one. And it's the guy holding the glasses and looking out a window. I think it's exactly what you described.
Yes. That's chapter 4. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Well.
Yeah, because I was looking at the last page of the last 2 chapters because I thought, oh, maybe he added stuff. But I'm like, it can't be this far back. And then I saw the show. I'm like, oh my God,
that's fantastic. There's more. Good. Because let me tell you, I looked high and low, and I could not find a volume 2. So I wonder if volume 2 was never published.
Maybe not.
But it doesn't matter, because 1, the whole thing is getting redone and put out, and number 2, the whole thing's online to read. So when I read the rest of it, I will review the continuation of it.
That's great.
Because listen, if all the loose ends get tied up in part 2, or in the rest of it, then it'll be great. Because like I said, the first part of the story that focuses on Jonah and Alpheus is great. And then they bring in these other characters. If they then make all of that fit together, then it'll be great. The art's good. I like the characters. I even said I wanted more. And there you go. There's more. So sometimes the universe comes through. I have 5 chapters.
Like the Wishmaster, your wish has been granted.
Was it 5? It was 4 chapters. I got 4 more chapters to read. I've got volume 2 to read, which is good. So, yeah, awesome. Well, there you go. Then you know what? It was a minor bummer,
Hooray!
And now it's now I have hope because, like I said, if he's got the time, then yeah, he probably ties up all the loose ends, which makes it work.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if it was published that way to get somebody to buy, to subsidize the second part.
Yeah, and the thing is, I looked. Cause the second I see a volume 1 on something, I was like, "Is there more?" And I went looking, and there was like no whisper of it. And then I didn't read anywhere that it was a fucking webcomic. Is it? Well, I mean, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That wasn't even in the introduction. God damn it! Let me know where to look for it.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice,
Yeah, tell me where to find the fucking juice.
Well, once again, I have provided the juice.
Yeah, so listen, the whole comic is online. You should read it, especially because it's all online. He put it there.
That's easy. It's his site. So he clearly put it there for anybody to read for free. That's why I'm looking at it.
It's a no-brainer. Just fucking read it.
Yeah,
I'm excited now because this is a reason to break out my iPad.
Well, good. Good.
So here's the thing. So you saved that review. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You can't save this next one.
Well, I can only do so much in one show.
Hold on. I'm just making sure I have a copy of that. so I can read that later for myself. Because that's fucking awesome.
I can always say
All
that
right.
again.
So, no, I already, I already got it. So,
All right.
yes. So, I made I don't want to call it a mistake. I decided to watch the new Jurassic Park movie.
Oh, you said you were probably going to do that.
Well, because my kids like,
yeah, because you like
Yeah.
ScarJo, so you said they were going to watch it.
Oh yeah, and okay, so let's be very clear. I like Scarlett Johansson. I think she's a looker. I like her smoky voice.
Oh, yes, that's. Don't worry, that's not a
No,
controversial.
but like I'm gonna be upfront with my weakness here. I think she's a looker. I like her acting. I've watched a lot of her movies, but you know what? There's some movies of hers even I won't watch because I don't want to see it. But like I like Scarlett Johansson, and I had read that they gave her basically a very sort of a very positive lead role in this, where like she's not the damsel or some shit like that. She's like
Sure.
I was like, cool. I was like, I'll watch a movie. Plus, the other guy in this movie is the guy who's supposed to be the new Blade, whose name I can never fucking remember.
Mahershala Ali, I think.
Yes, Ali. We're gonna call him Ali. It'll make it easier.
I know it's Ali.
So Ali's in this as well. So I was like, oh, cool.
What's his face? What's his face not in this movie? I guess he's not.
Who?
The Chris guys and all the other ones.
Oh, Star-Lord. Star-Lord's in this. No.
Yeah, Star-Lord.
No, actually, this is the fucked up part of this movie is that it's kind of a break. And the thing is, how when you watch a bad movie and you sit there and you go, this is how it could have been better. I watched this movie and I was like, you guys missed a huge opportunity to make.
Is she wielding a giant dart gun? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they're not there to kill dinosaurs. They're there to get blood. Right. So the premise of the movie is essentially that a big corporation.
Whoa! A big corporation is doing bad things. That's not.
It's not even. That's not even bad. That's the funny part about it. So this is after they let all the dinosaurs go in the last movie, right? So remember the last movie they let all the dinosaurs go and suddenly they're all over the fucking place, right?
No, I haven't seen any of these. Since the second one,
So the dinosaurs got loose and they're all over the fucking place, right? But this takes place.
Otherwise,
this takes place a while after that, where nobody gives a shit anymore. They're like, oh yeah, fucking dinosaurs. And it turns out that the dinosaurs
Wait. Sorry, I need a point of clarification.
Yeah.
Are they just running all over the globe, or are they?
No. So here's the thing, right? So it turns out they can't really live in the modern environment. It doesn't they basically say the acidity, the oxygen levels, the temperature fluctuations. It's not suited for them. So a lot of them are just dying out. So most of the dinosaurs in the wild are all around the equator, where it is closer to the environment that they existed in. Whereas there are dinosaurs all over the world in zoos. So most people are used to seeing dinosaurs now in very sort of like curated zoo environments. At one point, I guess a brontosaurus gets loose in New York City, and everyone treats it like a fucking traffic jam, like a fucking horse got loose, right? And I do like some of that. It's how you saw that movie Army of the Dead, and it was like there was a zombie outbreak in Vegas, but it didn't happen all over the world. Yeah. It was just there, right? This is the whole monsters, dinosaurs came back from the dead. They're all over the place. They're mostly in the warm areas. That's fine, whatever. Fuck dinosaurs, And this corporation finds out that essentially they're trying to create some new drug that'll basically combat basically like heart failure, right? And to do that, they need live tissue samples from these 3 very large dinosaurs, because something about their heart tissue is the secret to NIM, right? It's the MacGuffin, right? The MacGuffin is the corporation wants samples from these dinosaurs. Dinosaurs dangerous. They're not supposed to go because the governments have basically said that's the no-fly zone, guys. That shit's dangerous. There's nobody there to monitor either. That's the best part, is that governments don't even bother to patrol it because it's so fucking dangerous that if you go, you're probably going to get killed. It's not their problem, right? So it's not even like the corporation's doing anything wrong. Like, they don't want to get in trouble for people finding out they're there. But otherwise, it's not like they're avoiding patrols. Nobody's there. So all of that, I'm kind of like, okay, this could be interesting. Now I have to preface all this by saying that it's directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Godzilla, right?
Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I was like, I liked Godzilla, and I'm curious to see what he does with this, right? And so there are things in this movie that I did like, but right up front, they do this because it's a monster movie. They do this flashback to the one island they were going to when it was working in its heyday, and basically it's an island where they were making dinosaur hybrids. They were basically doing experimental testing, and they made a bunch of monsters. Is really what they did. But the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen in a movie happened. Dumber than some of the movies we've watched. This was like Danzig levels of fucking stupidity.
Ooh.
Right? Guy's going into a clean room in a clean suit. He's got his mask up before he goes in. He's eating a Snickers bar. He's got a bunch of equipment. He finishes the Snickers bar. The wrapper gets away from him. He's like, oh, whatever. He pulls the mask down. The clean door opens. He goes in. The wrapper gets sucked into the air by the clean room, even though there should have been negative air pushing it out. But anyway, it gets sucked into the room. He walks through the room into this other room where they're going to deal with some dinosaur. The fucking Snickers wrapper, which, by the way, I feel bad for Snickers that they got. I don't know if this is good advertising or not for them. So anyway, the wrapper starts floating around, and it gets sucked into a security door. And somehow that is enough to crash the entire security door system in the entire facility. They all start failing. People start running and screaming. They have to abandon the island. The fucking dinosaur gets out, causing fucking mayhem because a Snickers wrapper got sucked into a security door. Like, I mean, you didn't need Dennis Nedry to shut all the shit down in the first movie. All you needed was a Snickers wrapper in the right security door, apparently. It is so ludicrously dumb. You know when you watch something that's so dumb in a movie that you just want to turn it off? You're like, nah, I'm good. If I had been there by myself, I would have shut that movie off right then and there. I'm not kidding. I was just like...
No, I believe you.
And it like haunted me for the rest of the movie, where I was like, a fucking Snickers wrapper? Really? I was like, this multi-million-dollar facility, and honestly, to whoever the writers are, I really hope you were having a stroke when you wrote this scene, because there's no other explanation for it. By being like, well, a Snickers wrapper gets sucked into a security door, and then that causes all the security guards to fail. I'm like, what? I was like, that somehow broke your system? That little bit of shit? I was like, you could have done anything. It could have been a fucking incursion from a spy. It could have been a hurricane. It could have been any number of things that would have made total sense. But a fucking Snickers wrapper in a security door? I mean, they imply that the world is highly breakable, is really what they imply in that, to the point of goddamn stupidity. So, if you can get past that scene, which is absolutely fucking idiotic, then you get to the rest of the movie. So, cut that whole opener out. You don't need it. That's the other part, too. Like, you don't fucking need that opener. You know they're going to an island. Somebody says at one point, yeah, they did genetic testing and making weird hybrid dinosaurs here. That's all you need to know. But it's like they didn't trust the audience enough. They're like, no, we need to have a shot of like one of these mutant things in the background. So they're like, oh, monsters are coming. Yeah, okay. I'm like, that's fine. But then you did it in the dumbest way possible. You brought the IQ of your movie down into single digits. Man, it's so stupid. Go find that scene. You know what? I wonder if you could just type in Snickers wrapper.
Oh, I'm looking.
Jurassic.
Snickers.
Is it Jurassic World Rebirth?
Features the dumbest product placement in my... Oh, hold on. Here it is. Here it is. Hold on. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Opening scene.
Yeah,
I'm watching it. Oh, I saw. Yeah, I saw this in the trailer, it looked like. Hold on.
Stupid.
Wait a minute. This can't be right. Hold on. What is that thing behind him? Is that a dinosaur that has hands?
Yeah, it's got hands.
Oh my
no.
God!
Is this after? Wait, this is after the security already goes to mayhem.
Well, okay, no. I'm watching the opening where they're going up to the door. Everything's fine. Now he's freaking out. Hold on.
No,
Somebody
this is
just
already
ran out. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
You got to go back to when he's just going into that room. Yeah.
Here it is. Here's the entire scene.
Yeah, the sticker. It's just like the way they did it.
I'm watching it. Hold on. I'm watching.
I mean, honestly, and there's so much hatred.
Oh, he dropped it on the floor.
Yep. And now watch it get sucked
in
with him. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Nope. Hold on.
Oh, it's on the bottom of the door. It's going in.
Yeah,
red lights. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and then suddenly everything goes down.
System error.
Oh, everything must die. Yeah. Anyway, so
now I want to watch it.
Outside of the dumbest opener I've ever seen on a movie, the movie is a wasted opportunity. That's what this movie is. Scarlett Johansson is easy on the eyes, knows how to act.
Sure.
Ali is a good actor. Given good material, he could do great work. All right. And the idea that, hey, dinosaurs are pretty normal. We're going to go to this island. We have to get these samples. We're not there. We're not fighting the government. It's not tourism. We're literally going there for samples, and we're going to get out, and we know it's dangerous, right? I wish that they would have gone a different direction with this, because the direction they go in is that they go in with a small boat because they want to get under the radar. They don't bring enough weapons. Then they pick up this random Hispanic family who are on like a pleasure ship that just happened to be sailing through the area, and a mosasaur basically like flipped their ship, so they take them on board. And they say to the people like, "What the fuck were you doing here?" And they're like, "Whatever." The dad's like, "There's tons of ships in the sea. There's tons of mosasaurs." He's like, "We got hit." He's like, just as likely that we don't." So it's kind of like, I guess. I mean, it's the whole. There's lots of animals in the sea that could fuck you up. I just got unlucky. Sure, that makes sense, I guess. But the thing is, they take the family on board because Ali. There's a whole lot of backstory to this movie that actually makes me interested in two of the characters, which is Ali, who's some kind of ex-special forces guy who owns the ship, and then they call her Zora. Scarlett Johansson is the character of Zora, who just recently lost a partner in another mission. They're basically both mercenaries. They aren't dinosaur experts. They're just mercenaries, and they have this long history together. And the two of them, I like the two of them, and I like the idea of the two of them as like mercenaries. They're kind of getting tired of the work. They're losing too many friends. Like, the focus of this movie shifts away from them, and I find them to be the most interesting part of it. They bring on a dinosaur expert who's basically losing his job at the museums because nobody gives a shit about dinosaurs anymore, so they're shutting down all the paleontology departments. So he's basically signed on because he needs to get paid. But even he's kind of on the fence about whether or not this corporation should get the research, because if this really is a life-saving MacGuffin, shouldn't they give it to everybody? And then you get a monster movie on with training wheels. You know exactly who's going to die. In fact, the only person who didn't die in this movie, who I thought Ali was going to get it, and then he lives, but he lives in kind of a weird, incomprehensible way, where like he basically pulls an Alan Grant with the flare and draws the monster off, right? And there's this whole thing in there about how he doesn't want to die in the jungle and all this stuff. But he also said, you can hide in the jungle by going underwater. Like, they set stuff up with him, but he basically drags in one of the penultimate scenes. He like leads the main hybrid alien monster thing away from them, right? And then they don't show you what happens. They cut away. He's got the flare. The thing's coming down to look at him, and then they cut away. They pull a fucking Billy from Predator, except it's suddenly at the end, when Arnold was walking through the chopper, Billy had suddenly been like, "Hey, it fucking missed me." And you're like, "Oh, yay, Billy's alive." Yeah, they go and they pick up Ali, and I'm like, why is he alive? Like, is this just because he was so damn likable? Which he is. But
Probably.
like, it makes no fucking sense for him to live. Like, and plus you don't see what he did, nor does he ever explain it. It's just this weird, miraculous Hail Mary save that the movie gives you. Not to mention the fact, they're not going to kill the Hispanic family. There's like a two teenagers and a little girl, so they're not going to kill them. They're not going to kill the dad because this is a horror movie with training wheels, right? So that basically all of Ali's crew is dead, and they do. They kill all of Ali's crew. They kill the corporate guy. I'm surprised he makes it as far as he does. And then otherwise, it's the paleontologist and Scarlett Johansson, and then Ollie's miraculous save. And it's annoying because at times you watch it and you go, you could have done this, you could have done that, it would have been better. But otherwise, it just devolves into another generic, we have to escape an island full of dinosaurs movie, right? Like, I mean, really, after you did Jurassic Park 3 with Sam Neill, at least the Chris Pratt ones tried to do some mildly different shit. I mean, they had the weird, they did a mutant one in that one of those, and then they did one where they were out in the world. Like, at least they did something that was slightly different, even though it wasn't great either. But this is just generically bad. And the fucked up part is that I read reviews that were like, oh, this is actually quite good. This is one of the best Jurassic Parks yet. And I'm like, no, it's not. And when you're watching it, when you're watching it, there's a lot of action, so you kind of don't realize you're watching a bad movie. And then the movie ends, and you walk away, and about 2 seconds later, like literally, the movie ended, I went to use the bathroom, and I was standing in the bathroom, and I thought to myself, that was a bad movie. And it wasn't even like it was a question, where I was like, was it a bad movie? Because sometimes you and I will watch movies, and I'll go, was it bad? How could it be good? No, I saw it, and I thought, this was bad. That's it. Point blank. No save. I mean, the opener should have been the giveaway, but now I'm going to do that thing that you do.
Ooh.
You try to make a movie better.
Abused wife syndrome? Yay.
Yeah, abused wife syndrome. Because I like Scarlett Johansson, and I like having an excuse to watch her run around.
Hey, I defend Ultraviolet, so I'm with you.
Oh no, and I get it. That you love Mila. I mean that's a Mila movie right there, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, first off, you put her in a bikini the whole movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would have made this one better. But either way, so what I would have done with this movie is first off, you got to get rid of the Hispanic family. We don't get rid of the kids. You don't need kids, you don't need children, get rid of that. And then what basically you do is you have Scarlett Johansson's team coming in under the radar, fucking armed. They are armed and they are ready to blow shit up. And you discover that there are several other mercenary units who are all coming to this island looking for the same samples. And then you basically have a John Wick movie of 3 different military units and an island full of dinosaurs all trying to fucking kill each other in time to get off the fucking island. Because everyone has like a window to get off or something like that. Because I think they have a window of like by the next day there's a chopper coming to get them out of there if something should happen with their boat, which of course something's going to happen to the boat. But I was like, yeah, if you had several military units, like mercenary units, and they're all basically trying to undercut each other while trying not to be killed by dinosaurs, and you've got grenade launchers, and you've got gunfights, and you basically lean on this idea that, listen, dinosaurs aren't the only problem here. Because the thing is, early on in the movie, that's the sense you get, which is that dinosaurs are not as big of a problem as they used to be. They have become normalized. So you say, okay, then make it so that they are only part of the problem. Because what essentially happens is they are the problem, right? But it's like, okay, but if you had a bunch of military units or mercenary units, they're on there, they were well armed, and they all knew that they were after this big money MacGuffin, right? Then it's like, okay, great. You could have a really fun action movie. Dump a lot of your plotting and just, have actions. Listen, John Wick is about a guy whose dog they kill, and then he's like, right, fuck, you're all dead, right? And then you watch it because you're like, yeah, John Wick, they killed your dog. Fuck those assholes. I'm on board, right? Well, you know what? You root for Scarlett Johansson and Ali because they're cool and they seem to be mercenaries with a heart of gold, right? You root for them, and then you watch all these people basically fight and kill each other till it's down to just the few remaining members of Scarlett Johansson's team as they try to escape, and then you can have like 4 times the dinosaur human murder action, right? You can remove some of the training wheels, so it's a little bit more of like a horror flick. Right? And then you don't have to depend constantly on CG dinosaur fear. There's a lot of sequences in this movie, by the way, where I was watching and I thought, okay, dude, I get it. You're doing another callback to the first Jurassic Park movie. I got you. There's a lot of callbacks, like subtle ones, but there's just so many of them. And at one point, they get in like the sewer system and it looks like something out of Aliens. And I was like, okay, you missed an opportunity here. Like you could have had, and like one of the dinosaurs gets down there after them. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you could have such a cool sequence here. So this movie is bad and a series of hilariously missed opportunities. All of this prefaced by the dumbest fucking opener I have ever seen. So yeah, it's a bad movie and it could have been way better. I would you know what? I don't normally like to toot my own horn and be like, my version's better. I would have totally watched my version over this. Yeah, it wasn't good. And even saying that, if you told me tomorrow they were doing an offshot movie just about Ali and Scarlett Johansson and their mercenary endeavors, I might watch that because I liked them. When they did Army of the Dead, and then you found out they were doing a prequel with just the lockpick guy?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, that doesn't make any sense. And then people were like, actually, that's a really fun movie. And a lot of people ended up liking the lockpick movie more than Army of the Dead. And the lockpick movie happens in the same universe. But, it's the whole, zombies have become kind of normalized. It's not such a big deal. It's happening over there. It's not here. If they did that with Scarlett Johansson and Ali, I'd watch it, and I'd probably enjoy it more than this. But, not if it has an opener like that. Fucking Snickers wrapper, guys. Like, that's the best you could come up with? Hold on. Just so I can name the person who sucks at this. Let's go find the writer and shame him. Is it Jurassic World? Rebirth. Okay. Oh, nothing. Yeah. Okay, so Gareth Edwards. Okay, so it was written by. Oh man, they have Michael Crichton listed as one of the writers. Well, you know what? If you had a dead man write the script, then I can understand why it's so bad. But let's see, David Cope. What else did you write, my man? Oh, he wrote.
I was gonna say that name sounds familiar.
He apparently. All right, so. Now I'm very confused because this guy is not a fucking asshole. No, he's not. This guy worked on. Hold on. Yeah, this guy worked on. Let me go back in this list for you. This guy worked on Toy Soldiers, Death Becomes Her, Jurassic Park, Carlito's Way, The Shadow. The Shadow video game, which honestly I didn't know there was one. Mission Impossible. He worked on the second Jurassic Park. He worked on Snake Eyes, which is a good fucking movie. Man, he worked on Panic Room, Spider-Man, Zathura. I actually do like a lot of these fucking movies. Well, he did work on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
They can't all be winners.
That you know what? Honestly, this guy hit a wall. Interesting. So, I'm looking at his list of movies, right? So he wrote the first Spider-Man with Sam Raimi. He wrote Panic Room, Snake Eyes. Mission Impossible, Shadow. A lot of good movies, right? And then he suddenly writes. I even like Secret Window. Did you see Secret Window with Johnny Depp? Based on the.
But I read the book. I never.
Yeah, it's based on the King story. It wasn't bad, right? I liked Zathura. I thought the Jumanji in space was quite good. Right. And then all of a sudden, it's like he hits this turn and he does War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise one, which it's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie either.
It sounds like it's better than the new one.
Yeah. But then he does like Ghost Town with Ricky Gervais. He does Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, which is not a great movie. He does the 2 sequels to Da Vinci Code, which, were trying so desperately to be Da Vinci Code. And he did The Mummy, the Tom Cruise one, which was terrible.
Yeah.
So, man,
Yeah.
how does this guy allow a scene like that to happen? A scene that fucking stupid. This guy's not stupid. How does that happen?
If you're actually asking me, I don't know.
I mean, do you
number one,
have theories?
Well, directors change things, producers change things. We don't really know. Hold on. It's called Rebirth, right? Let's see.
Yeah, Rebirth.
I mean, just because the guy wrote it doesn't mean that's what they filmed.
Yeah, that. I'm hoping that somebody decided to just.
I mean, he has made some bad movies too, so perhaps they were like, "Look, man, we're giving you a chance on this, so we're gonna have the ability to make corrections." You never know.
God, you know what would be terrible? It'd be awful if you wrote the screenplay for this and that wasn't in there, and then you see the movie and you see your name next to that, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like.
Yeah. This is partially adapted from the second novel. I have not read the second. That's what it says right here. The plot of the second novel
from Lost
is
World
finally adapted here. That's what it says. The many failures on the road to cloning dinosaurs is finally adapted here. I mean, I'm not saying it's lifted word for word. I'm saying that a major part of it is from this.
Like I read all the Crichton books. This is not any of those.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
The only thing this really has going for it is I like Scarlett Johansson in a ponytail. I find as I've gotten older, I've become more. I find the ponytail to be sexy. I don't know why. I suspect it's video games, because in video games you're doing female characters' hair. The ponytail version's always the most.
I've had one for years for the same reason.
Yeah, yes. You know what it is? I think it's that. I think it's your ponytail.
It's me.
I'm just.
No, I know.
I find women with hair like you sexy.
At one point, somebody asked me why I started doing video, and I said, "Well, it's a crime to deny people to be able to see this." So,
yeah. Whereas I try to make sure that people don't know I have a third arm growing out of my neck. So.
That's easy. Just face forward all the time.
Man, do you remember Trogdor? This has to do with dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you know that show on YouTube I watch, Tiny Nerdy Things, where the guy builds stuff.
Yeah.
He did a Trogdor build. Like what would Trogdor look like if it was like quasi real, right? I have never wanted a statue as badly as I wanted that Trogdor. I watched that shit when we were like, we were in our 20s when we saw that first came out, Trogdor.
Yeah, I think so.
On Strong Bad, man, and seeing him make it, I was like, I don't normally get nostalgia, but man, when he made that fucking one-armed dragon mutant fucking mess, I was like, oh, Trogdor. I was like, I fucking love Trogdor.
Yeah, there are a lot of references to them consulting Steven Spielberg on this movie.
Oh, I think he's...
Like them calling him regularly to have input, so I wonder...
Yeah, but you know what? Listen, Spielberg as a producer doesn't mean you got a fucking made movie either, because, let me tell you, as a producer...
that's what I'm saying, though, but the fact that he's a producer to me is a huge glaring red flag as far as
he's made some mistakes, yeah.
Boy, has he.
I mean, listen, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... There's 9 producers on this.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
When we talk about movies that Spielberg has produced, you know what? Let's see what just.
Oh boy, some of the goofs alone make this movie worth watching. The Titanosaurus is somehow able to hide in grass that's not even tall enough to hide humans.
There's a whole herd of them hiding in the grass, and my wife is like, "That was hiding in the grass." She's like, "That's one of the largest dinosaurs ever," and it just rose. And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it must have been like that grass must have been like 10 feet high, but it's not because they're walking through it." Oh yeah, there's.
The D-Rex briefly enlarges when attacking the helicopter before returning to regular size for the rest of the film.
Oh yeah, it gets when it first shows up, right, in like a thing of smoke, they get very kaiju, And for a second, I was like, "Ooh, are we gonna get kaiju with this?" And the way this thing moves through the smoke, it's very Godzilla for a minute, but it's fucking huge. And then it gets small again, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so it's not that size." Like, oh man, yeah, it is just it's not good. It's
Wow,
not
there's quite
good.
a large plot hole section for this one. That's nice.
That's because there are major.
Why would they
plot
go
holes.
to an island full of man-eating dinosaurs with only a single firearm? Well, that does seem like a big problem.
Yeah, and that guy gets killed before they even get to the island. That's goddamn Ajax from Deadpool. You know, he was a big asshole. And that's the thing is there's this whole a meta analysis of movies where you're watching them and you know exactly what's going to happen based on like the stereotypes. You're like, okay, well that guy's an asshole. He's going to die early on. These guys are the extraneous crew. You know they're going to die, right? Mm-hmm. Not going to kill the little girl or the teenage couple. You know, if it was an R, the dad would die saving them. But this is a PG-13. He's not going to die. I mean, the only thing I was surprised by was Ali, and honestly. I bet you they fucking killed him in some version of the movie. And then there was like a test audience
you can't
or
have
something.
This guy die.
And they were like, oh, okay, so he can't die.
No, wait, man, he's going to be playing Blade. We have to keep people reminded that he's alive.
Yeah, and
Blade's
like
going to come out someday.
And the paleontologist and Scarlett Johansson start getting like friendly. But at no point am I like, oh, they're going to have sex now. Like, it doesn't go in that direction. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, I'm happy about that. They're friendly, but they didn't automatically have it be like, oh, maybe when we get off this island, we can go on a date together. Like that never comes up. He's competent. She's competent. They're friendly. They get along. It works. Right. And the thing is, I actually like the three core people, which is Ali, Scarlett Johansson, and the paleontologist whose name I can't remember. I actually like them. And they do at one point, they ask him like his background, and he says that basically he was one of Sam Neill's, students essentially that went on excavations. What do they call it? It's not called an excavation. What do they do when the archaeologist goes someplace? Jesus Christ, what's the word?
No, you don't mean expedition?
Expedition. There you go.
Okay.
No, but there's a word. There's a word from when they start looking for dinosaurs and they start bringing the it's not an excavation.
The bones. Well, they call them digs, but I think it is. Isn't it called an excavation?
No, it's something else.
Isn't it an archaeological dig?
Yeah, but either way, yes, he went on archaeological digs with Sam Neill's character. So I like that. That's like a little minor reference, right? That's all just a dropped line. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, archaeological excavation. You had it right.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, beyond that,
dig is called an excavation. Yeah,
it's just not. It's not good. And like for the amount of money and people in it, it feels lazy and contrived. And I mean, and that opener, listen, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that maybe the writer of the movie is not responsible for that Snickers wrapper. But whoever is, fuck them. Fuck them for insulting my intelligence. If shit broke down that easily, I mean, anybody could get into anything with a fucking, candy bar. I mean, oh, so stupid. So yeah, don't see this movie. Don't. I mean, as much as I love Scarlett Johansson, don't encourage them. If they can't do anything interesting or well written with this, then they shouldn't make any more of these movies. Do something else, guys. You know, I mean, they did that. Oh man, isn't there that movie that's like, was it Dinosaurs in Vietnam that's coming out? Did you see the trailer for that?
Yeah, I mean, it might be fun.
You know what?
Goofy.
That might be better than this. But for the amount of money, I mean, it's just, yeah, hire a better writer. Or, actually follow the writing. Recently I was learning about one of your girls' movies. I was learning about Fifth Element, and I didn't know that Fifth Element, the original script from Fifth Element, was apparently tremendous. That he apparently wrote a giant universe, and that the original version of that movie was like hours long. It took place on multiple planets with tons of alien characters. Well, and it was supposed to be like a trilogy.
It was the InCal. He just copied the InCal. So yes,
yeah.
the InCal.
Yeah, but then the studio was like, no, get
Yeah,
that
you'll
shit.
never be able to afford this.
Yeah, get that shit down to nothing, and then he zipped it down to Fifth Element. I also didn't know that. Oh man, they didn't want Bruce Willis for it originally.
I
Mel
know
Gibson.
they considered a bunch of people. Yeah,
They wanted Mel Gibson, which man, what a
very
weird movie
glad it
that
was
would have
not Mel
been.
Gibson.
And they decided not because he
Yeah.
wasn't funny enough.
No, I can't see him
But either
being
way,
as good as Bruce Willis.
you know,
Either way.
it's that idea that, Fifth Element has a lot of holes and but it makes more sense now where it's like, well, he had a much larger script and he just kept fucking hacking it down to make it into like a single shot movie, you know? Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Luc Besson, I found out I was watching an interview with Gary Oldman. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you knew this already.
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind him yelling everyone in the
Yes.
professional? Have
Oh, I
you
did.
heard him
Yeah.
talk about that?
Where basically it was almost like a joke.
It was a joke.
Yeah,
He told
and
the
then they
sound
kept
guy,
it-
hey, back up because I'm going
Yeah.
to scream. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Luc Besson and would tell Gary Oldman to do weird shit on everything he's ever worked on.
Well, you know
Whether it
that the
makes
only
sense.
reason Gary Oldman did Fifth Element was as a favor of Luc Besson, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense because apparently he thinks he's hysterical. They think
Luc-
each of them is hysterical. So, okay, good.
Luc Besson helped him with his pet project, which I can't remember. I think it's the one he did with Alfred Molina. I can't remember what that movie's called. Is it
no,
Prick Up
that's
Your
not
Ears?
Mank. Yeah, it's which one is that one?
can't
I know the
remember-
one you're
yeah.
talking about. I can't remember
Yeah.
the title at all.
But either way, yeah, he helped him with that. So then, it was kind of like a favor for a favor. But yeah, so yeah, but it all goes back to the whole good scripts, guys. Get good scripts. This didn't need. This had all the money. Jurassic Park. This is Rebirth. Had all the money in the world. It had cast. It had actual decent actors. And here's the thing. Even the Hispanic family in it. You know what? They're not bad. And actually, my wife is like the one person, the boyfriend of the daughter, actually has more of a character arc in this movie than anybody else, right? Where he starts out as a total douche, and then by the end, you're like, oh, he's not such a bad guy. I'm like, I know, but they're not supposed to be there anyway. It's not that their acting is bad; it's just their very presence there. It's just, it's like they're trying to throw as many elements into the movie as they can, and. It makes sense because going back to Gareth Edwards, I liked Godzilla. He did the first one, right? Yeah, he did the first one.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. I still like that movie a lot.
So I liked the first Godzilla. I liked Monsters, which he did. I liked Rogue One. I have to watch The Creator. I haven't seen that yet, but I want to. But you know what? One of the things on Godzilla that happened is that you're with the dad. Who was his name?
Quicksilver 2.
No. That's the son, the dad.
Oh, you mean Bryan Cranston?
Cranston. Yeah, you're with Cranston and his son for the first part of the movie, right?
The son
And
who's
I
also a father. That's why you threw me off.
But I love Cranston. And then when Cranston dies, the movie changes tone completely. You know what I mean? So even that's kind of a weird thing in that movie. Godzilla is not perfect, but it's fun. Right?
I had a realization about Godzilla the other day, this movie, the 2014.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to show that movie to my wife. And I know that is going to be a one-time only movie for my wife. It's going to work.
But it's a fun movie
once.
to watch once.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we're only ever going to watch it together. I've watched it probably 5 times.
Hey, I showed my kids that one. That was my opener for getting into
what
the
I'm
new
saying
Godzilla universe.
I've watched that many times because I'm a huge Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
I would not expect anyone who's not a huge Godzilla fan to watch that movie more than once because for most people, there's not enough Godzilla in it. And so the only way that works is if you don't know it in the movie.
The thing
you keep
is,
waiting, and then the anticipation works. But once you know, you don't want to watch it again.
But if you know the director and you know the Monsters, which is the other movie he did, honestly, Monsters is what got him the job.
Yeah.
You realize he's one of these directors who's more focused on the people than the monsters.
Well, and it works the first time. It works so well because once you get to the end, and honestly, I've watched every modern Godzilla film there's been, and I've watched almost all the old ones, so I've seen almost all of them. And there still has never been a moment that has worked as effectively as a long build
Oh, the
in
breath.
any of those films, period. Yes, when he starts charging up the spines, you hear that sound.
Oh,
because,
and the fucking whole, you know how you were talking a while back about how that you had that peak moment in the theater with was it
The Matrix?
The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
Godzilla in theaters, right?
Yeah.
And when the fucking scales,
Yeah.
charge up, everybody was like, "Ah, Godzilla!" Like, everyone's rooting for Godzilla to fuck him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it's
No,
good.
It is. That's what I'm saying. But it only works for most audiences that first time, because once you know it's there, then you're waiting. You're like, okay, all right, yeah, oh wow, okay, there's his foot. Great. Can we see the rest of? And that's what the following movies delivered.
You see him from a human perspective in that movie.
You do,
which is unique.
but that's boring
for American
for most
movies.
people. Well, for most people who aren't into Godzilla that much.
Yeah.
Who want more action.
Listen, it's better than the Broderick one.
You know what?
Yeah.
You say that. I'm gonna make a statement here that's gonna sound very unusual for me, because I don't like that movie.
Yeah.
But I understand why most people would choose to watch that movie again and not the Cranston one.
Is this the whole because most people are idiots?
No, because you see more of the creature. You
I know,
see
but
more
it's
of what you're there to see.
But it's a shit movie.
Okay. All right. Objectively.
They're in the thing's goddamn mouth, and somehow they get away.
Though,
I mean, it's Godzilla slapstick is what that movie is.
It's the inverse thing. Whereas in the new movie, you get way too little of Godzilla and you get a lot of people. And with Cranston, but Cranston's just so much better of an actor. That's the problem there, really, is he's so much better. So, if whatever the guy's Quicksilver 2 had been better as a character, then you wouldn't have minded spending the rest. But they kind of just make him a random military guy who happens to be in the right place at the wrong time a bunch of times.
He's just
That's what it is.
The point of view character.
Well, not only that, but the thing that they usually get on female characters about is his problem. He has no agency in anything. He's just there.
He's
just kind
what
of
do
like,
they call
I
it?
just want to go home. That's it. The Mary Sue. He's the Bobby Sue of the movie.
He's the Bobby Sue.
Yeah, he's the Bobby Sue. Yeah.
Come on, Bobby Sue. Get that Godzilla. Get that Kaiju. Yeah.
All right, hold on. He's the
Kaiju Bobby Sue. Come on, Kaiju Bobby Sue.
Oh, you know what? That's a good title. Hold on.
Honestly, that's a good title for a movie. I want to see a movie called Kaiju Bobby Sue.
Well, that's why I'm copywriting it by using it right now. Kaiju Bobby Sue is now the show title. Got it.
Oh man, yeah, because I mean he's everywhere doing everything, and then he's right there at the end with the bomb, right? Like,
whereas in the Broderick Godzilla, there's a lot more of Godzilla, and honestly, I don't mind. A lot of people hate that redesign. I'll be honest, I don't mind it. At least it tried to do something different. I wish he'd stood up a little more, but I didn't mind the lizard look. I really didn't. I
don't mind the design. It's just
and when he's in the water coming towards the dock, that looks really good. When he's stomping around, that's a more. They reveal him more steadily in that movie than in the Godzilla Edwards one. And I think that's why a lot of people, if you in their heart of hearts, would rather watch the Broderick one again. The humans are stupid, but you don't care. Whereas in the Edwards one, the human that you're focused on is bland, and that's worse. At least the other one is funny to laugh at with how bad some of the acting is.
You know what? He wrote monsters. I've realized the problem with Gareth Edwards. Hold on one second.
I don't think he wrote Godzilla, though. He may have.
He didn't.
Well, he may have been a co-writer.
Has he written anything else?
I think so.
He wrote The Creator. Now I got to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like he really knows how to, much like what's his name? Fucking the guy who's supposed to do the Batman movie, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck knows how to direct his own writing really well.
Yeah.
So, and he did write the Godzilla movie. Yeah.
He wrote it himself, or was he a co-writer?
He wrote it with, let's see, was it himself or with someone else?
I'm curious.
No, it says he didn't. That's weird. So when you click on Gareth Edwards and on his listing, it says that he's one of the writers, right? But then when you click on the movie, he's not listed as one of the writers. That's weird.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I guess he's not. No, I guess he's not. Yeah, so he wrote Monsters and The Creator. So I really want to see The Creator now because I want to see what happens when he gets money and gets to direct it, because I actually read interesting things about that movie. So,
Well,
you know,
and
listen,
that's why.
and Rogue One was a good script.
Yeah,
I mean, they gave the guy a good script, so
but
you
that's
understand.
the thing, because I rewatched the Broderick one, I think, like 10 years ago. I was like, I'm going to watch this again. And all the human stuff does suck, but I did notice that I'm like, yeah, they do slowly keep showing you more and more, and the pacing's really good. As far as revealing the monster. You know, once the way they keep building it up, where you're seeing more and more of him, I'm like, that's actually, it's a shame that is in this.
You know what the D-Rex looks like in Rebirth?
It almost looks like
it almost looks like the monster from Star Wars, from Jedi.
Hold on, D-Rex. What? It looks like the Rancor.
The Rancor, yeah, it almost looks like the Rancor.
Yeah, I knew right away what it was when you said that.
Because if you look at the movie poster, in the movie poster,
that's why when I saw that clip, I thought, oh no, this is some fan thing where they put the Rancor.
Yeah, but you know what?
But
the thing is, we're just going to call it the Rancor from now on. The Rancor is not even in the movie till the very fucking end.
And plus, it looks like the Rancor with an alien skull. What is this fucking?
Yeah,
thing?
they gave it
This looks like a joke.
Creature.
I can't believe this is real.
The whole movie is a joke. The Ultrasaurs were hiding in the grass.
Oh God.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there is interesting.
Is there one
things.
That's got a cybernetic headset on or something? What is this?
No.
Okay, that's a toy then. All right, then that's just a toy.
Yeah.
All right.
No, there are interesting things they could have done with this movie.
Yeah.
But they just didn't do them. And they have decent actors, and they had enough of an interesting backstory that I wanted to see what they were up to. And honestly, you can see the director. I mean, I give him credit. The movie does look good. It's not like it looks bad. I mean, he's always got the Ridley Scott problem, right? Where it's like, well, Ridley Scott movies look good, whether they are or not.
Well, they
look good. But yeah, I mean, it's a shit. It's a lazy shit screenplay. So, I mean, and I mean, oh God, the fucking. I never thought a candy wrapper would irritate the shit of me to the degree to which this movie has made it. You know,
it's great.
So yeah, and like, if it was just meant to be a monster movie, which is what I was hoping he was going to kind of do. And I think what happened was when I heard Gareth Edwards, I forgot that Gareth Edwards also didn't direct the what do you call it? The Godzilla King Kong movies, because that he left after the first one, right?
Yeah, which is a shame.
But that other guy,
you know what though? They were a lot of fun. So maybe he left because he didn't want to make those movies. And so
I thought that when I first heard it, that was the guy that directed this, and I thought, oh, it'll be a fun monster movie like those, you know, just fun, no point, right? Just, but you know what? And what's funny is that in some degree he kind of did, because this has the fucking plot holes that the King Kong versus Godzilla movie, you know, with the stupid Mecha Godzilla movie. It has, or the hole that goes through all of Earth. Like, it's got all the same kind of fucking plot holes. It's just not fun in the same way. And when, like I said, when you're watching it, like, you don't realize just quite how much of it is dumb. But then when you walk away, it's almost like it numbs your brain a little bit, and then you walk away, and like instantly you're like, that wasn't a good movie. I mean, you know, I already knew that because of the
Yeah.
And could you imagine if the rest of the movie had been brilliant, but like after that fucking
just
Snickers
that
wrapper? Imagine if like to have that as your opener, you know?
Yeah. That'd be rough.
Who the fuck wrote that goddamn scene?
Well, I mean, look, we talked about the Badlands movie or whatever, where if not for the ending, it would be the most forgettable thing, but that ending saves it. So it does happen.
Yeah.
The Mila Bautista movie. So
yeah,
it can happen that one end or the other can be great.
Yeah, that movie. You know what's terrible about that flick? I remember it far more fondly than it deserves.
I remember parts of it. Which is
and I think it's
well,
yeah, I know. But I think it's because we watched it together. And there are scenes that were very funny for a pair.
Yes.
You know, like the fucking murder train and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, that was a big budget watch with your friends movie.
Yeah.
It really
and
was.
yet not a good movie.
And not overall a good movie. An interesting
Yeah,
film,
fuck.
but not a good movie.
Listen, I'll go out on a limb. I think that's better than Jurassic World Rebirth.
Actually, here's a question: have you watched the Broderick Godzilla with your kids?
Yeah, I showed them that one a while back
Oh,
when
you
they were
did.
younger.
And did
Yeah.
they like it?
Did they like it? They liked it in as much as it was a slapstick like monster movie.
Okay.
And the thing is, when I asked them a while back what they remember about that movie. You know what's funny? They don't remember Godzilla. They remember the babies. That's what they remember the most about that movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, that is the end. That's the big end. So I'm not surprised.
So, but yeah, so I mean, I hate when you watch a movie, and you know this completely. You watch a movie and you go, Jesus, there was so much promise. Jesus, there's so much stuff you could have done.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like with you,
Yes.
you kind of get away with it more because you watch a lot of lower budget movies. So it's like you understand why they didn't do the things they did. Maybe they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I can invent what do you call it? Legitimate
there's
reasons
reasons.
that may have existed.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I watched
They
this
didn't
movie.
have a hotline to Steven Spielberg as a
Yeah,
producer.
guys,
Let's put
like
it that
Jesus,
way.
you have a director who's done this before, who's made some actually good movies. You've got a screenwriter who's actually written some fun movies. I was like, you had a solid crew, you had good actors, you had plenty of fucking money, right? So, what went wrong, man? But
What went wrong?
I mean, this is the whole. They just aren't made. These movies aren't made for me. But you know what? If that's true, if we keep making movies of the same premises, essentially because the people will stop watching the originals, right? So why do they keep making Star Wars movies? Because you have a whole generation of kids who won't watch the originals because they look at them and they go, "Oh, those look fucking old and stupid." And this is true. I've heard a bunch of kids say this, right? So you have to keep making Star Wars movies to kind of keep it neat because they won't watch the originals, right?
Sure.
But the thing is that you keep trying to make decent movies so that at least if you're just going to make the same thing over and over again, you maintain the value, right? Well, this doesn't hold a candle to the original Jurassic Park at all.
Yeah.
So, you're trying to keep the idea alive, but at the same time you're not, and yet in there are neat elements. I mean, I like the fact that Scarlett Johansson, they let her play not the damsel in distress. But I think that's because, she's Black Widowed herself, so now she's allowed to be Black Widow in every movie. I just think that's very funny. So yeah, don't see it. Don't see it unless you like Scarlett Johansson and you like to watch her sweat. If you like sweaty Scarlett Johansson, and then go watch what is that movie she did where she gets completely naked? In the skin?
Under the Skin?
Under the Skin. Yeah, go watch Under the Skin. That's a better scary Scarlett Johansson movie. Yeah. That's on a list of movies I do not want to watch with my kids.
I would think not.
No, like it's funny. I told my wife, it's like once our kids can watch rated R movies, I like we let them watch our rated R movies. It's like there's a whole bunch of them I don't want to watch with them. Because the real horror of rated R movies is watching like certain movies with your parents and being like, this is uncomfortable. I keep telling my kids that. I was like, you guys keep wanting to watch rated R movies thinking that somehow I'm not letting you see horror and gore. I was like, really what you're getting is sex scenes.
Right.
I was like, wait till you have to watch a sex scene with your parents. You're sitting there in the room thinking like,
well,
okay.
there are movies where that's not going to be a factor, like RoboCop. No real sex scenes in RoboCop.
It's just the blows brains out thing. That's the only scene that movie.
Yeah, that's all violence. So that one.
Yeah. It's all violence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Kung Fu Hustle. Kung Fu Hustle is apparently rated R, and I cannot figure out for the life of me why.
Well, it'll tell you why. What does it say?
I've looked it up, and I think it's excessive. I read somewhere it was like excessive martial arts or some shit like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's considered violence. Let's see. Rated R. Interesting. It doesn't say why up there. Let me look down here. Does it say why? Rated R for sequences of strong, stylized action and violence.
Yeah.
So here it is. No, here's the complete list.
Okay.
Wow. So there's several things.
Okay.
Sex and nudity. Specifically, we see a man pooping in front of everyone, shown explicitly for a few seconds.
Really?
Oh, apparently.
I don't remember that.
Let's see. Violence and gore. Well, that's most of it. Profanity. Oh, they have a count. 1 use of piss. 6 uses of ass. 1 pairing of ass with hole. 1 use of bitch. 3 uses of hells. 1 use of damn. 2 uses of fuck. Some uses of ass and asshole. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking.
Some uses of ass and asshole. I think I've seen that movie before.
A main character is a chain smoker.
How?
Frightening and intense scene where a character is rescued from a dark and scary mental hospital. There you go.
Yeah.
So
it's not.
I guess shitting in front of the audience are.
Yeah, I suppose that shitting in front of the audience is.
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so Space-Mullet will be good when I read the next 4 chapters.
Hopefully.
So let's all be very happy that it's online. And despite Scarlett Johansson being, good looking, I don't think people should see the new Jurassic Park. And you understand that because Mila's made a lot of bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
I understand.
What is the last?
Bad, but occasionally,
What's the last really good movie that she made? Like action movie that she made?
Oh, action movie? Hold on, let's see. I love the fact that I could just type in Mila and it comes up. They know. The internet knows. I don't have to fuck around with this.
Let me complete that for you.
Let me see. Actress.
Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil is a fun, good movie. I've watched it a bunch of times. But
let's see. Well,
the sequels were all very mixed.
Monster Hunter was a good movie, except for its terrible ending.
Do you think Monster Hunter is that PG-13?
I believe it is. Let me look. It could be an R. There is a lot of PG-13. Yeah, you can watch that.
Nobody's pooping in that movie
because it's her and Tony Jaa. So I mean, there is good action and there's actual good.
So maybe that'll be worth.
Yeah,
watching.
I would say that. It's just a shame that the ending sets up a sequel we're never going to get.
Exactly. Listen, that's exactly how I felt about Space-Mullet.
Yeah,
I was getting set up for a sequel I was never going to get, but I did.
Well, luckily, not the case.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, my God, fucking Snickers wrapper. Dennis Nedry had to do so much shit in that first movie to really set it all up, right? And that was like the crux of the movie. And they were like, you know what? That thing that took all this stuff for this one guy to do that they couldn't figure out. We're just gonna do that with a candy wrapper. That happens, right? I mean, didn't they talk to anybody vaguely who worked with computers or anything? You're like, no, it doesn't work like that. That's implying that I can piss on your engine and the car would explode.
Works like that now.
Hey. So that was my big bummer of a review. That it was just not. So
that is a bummer. That's a shame.
It is. So now elevate me, sir. Elevate me with your good reviews.
So I've mentioned before, I think, that I am a member of the very funnily named Club Twit, which is basically I pay to help keep the Twit network alive, which is all the technology podcasts I listen to. And they do a book club every 2 or 3 months when they pick a book. One of the people who used to be on the network and now works for Consumer Reports, very, very, very smart woman who does a lot of IoT stuff, specifically advocating for things not just dying because a company goes under and you bought it, and having data security and not violating your privacy, important stuff to people like us.
I'm sure she's a lovely person.
No, I'm just saying. So her name's Stacey Higginbotham. She's very smart. Go read her shit because she's actually advocates for good stuff.
How do you spell that? Higginbotham.
Higginth Higginbotham. Botham. So
okay.
Higginbotham.
I'm gonna remember that it was long. Go on, Higginbotham.
Yeah. I was, if only the last letter was N, I could say you could remember it by thinking of the molecule and the things that died in Star Wars, Higginbothans, but it's M, not N, so it doesn't work. In any event, she picks the books. She puts a set of books, and the community votes on them.
Okay.
People read them and then show up. I've showed up for the last 5 or 6. So probably they do a delay of those by about a month. So probably in 2 or 3 weeks, the video will be out where you can see me talking about it. I actually drew something entirely based on a visual from this book, which I don't think I've ever done before, where I was drawing it as I was reading it and adding to it because there was such a strong visual from the book, which I'll get to in a minute. So the book it's titled, This Is How You Lose the Time War, by 2 authors.
Oh.
I probably will mispronounce. Yeah? Have you read this?
I'm vaguely aware of this. Go on.
All right. The authors are Amal El Motar, I think, and Max Gladstone. I think I'm pronouncing those both correctly. The way the book was written, it's in is it epistolary, where it's written as letters? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read it.
So the two authors came up with the vague overview. No, it's not. It's not like that though. It's basically letters and exposition. It's not entirely letters.
Okay, yeah, because I hate letters books.
No. It's
that was
very
one of the things
good.
that put me off of Dracula for years, which I was like,
yeah.
God,
no, if it had been all that, it would have been tougher.
I'm sure it's fine. It's just that format drives me crazy. Listen, I'm also more of a fan of third person than first person. You know,
they're smart because they break it up by actually explaining different things in between. So it does. Okay. It goes out of the letters. The letters are in between. So the way they did it was they crafted the overview of the story, the kind of beginning and end, but then they literally, the authors would write the letters to each other responding to the character's last letter. So they were writing as each character, which is very evident because it starts off and you think it's going to be one thing. There's these 2 agents. They're both women. One is just titled Red and one's titled Blue. They're in some kind of multiversal time war, which is for the title, which is unimportant. There's not much explained about it, and that's fine because it doesn't matter. Honestly, when you're talking about multiverses in time, who gives a shit? There's going to be no making sense of it anyway, and they're very smart because they basically admit that after a certain point, nobody cares anymore. Like the agents don't even think about it anymore because they're just used to what they're doing. So when it starts off, imagine that Batman and the Joker, instead of ever fist fighting, you know how the Joker leaves a calling card a lot of times? Or the Riddler, whoever, where they leave something behind. Imagine Batman did that when he foiled it, and then the Riddler showed up and the bank was empty. And there was a note from Batman going, haha, let me tell you why you fucked up.
Go fuck yourself, buddy, yeah.
Right. That's how the book starts, is each of them are writing little taunting kind of, aha, I saw you trying to do that, but I saw you doing it, and I counteracted it with that. But good try. That was actually clever, and you almost got me. So for a while, it's going back and forth.
Yeah.
And you think that it's going to be these 2 people kind of who will win in this joust back and forth because they seem to be even. And that's how it starts off. And then the nature of the letters slowly starts to change where it becomes evident that they at least have, at first it's kind of a grudging respect for the talent of the other. And then it's kind of a warm kind of, oh, yeah, okay, I can't do that because you will know how to counteract that. That's smart. You must have had good training. So, my compliments to your trainer or whatever. And then it starts to get to, nobody else will understand this, but this is what I did to try to beat you here. But nobody else is as good as you. So I can't explain this to anybody else. All the rest of the agents, they're way below us. So here's how I did it. And I'm really happy that you actually figured it out.
So it's basically, it's the whole serial killer and the person tracking them suddenly becoming close because they realize how clever the other is. Yeah.
How unique each of them are.
Honestly, and what's funny is that to some degree, I think I told you I started watching that Dexter series. That's almost how that show starts, which is one serial killer. And that's how
Hannibal ends up.
Yeah, it's one serial killer seeing another serial killer and be like, you know what? I kind of like what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and like Hannibal, they start to fall in love. They start to get to a point where they're like, yeah, I don't want to win because I'm going to have to kill you. And then there's no you and it's just me. So it becomes Killing Joke where it's like, we can't exist without each other. And so then they're trying to figure out how they can save each other without being discovered by each of their empires. And then eventually, they get caught because there's just no way not to get caught because you can't keep going and never win, right? There has to be a point. So one of them ends up dying, and they kept referring to Romeo and Juliet. So I was like, oh, the other one's just going to kill herself. This is going to be the end of it. But instead, the other one figures out how to go back in time and genetically infuse because there's defenses on each of their empires that stop you from entering them. So when the one realizes the other is going to die, she goes back in time and starts to infuse her own body with a way to get past the defenses because it looks for the DNA traces so that she's able to go in when the other agent is a child and start to build up her immunity to the poison that kills her later so that she can survive. Oh yeah, it's great. The way this all comes out is really, really, really well done. And then at the very end, they're both alive again. And then the one doesn't realize it at first that she's about to be executed. And then she finds a letter saying that the other one has managed to get out of the prison that she was put into, and says, how about we just kill everybody together? And she's like, all right, I'm in. And the thing ends with the two of them getting ready to go to war against both their empires as lovers. And that's how it ends. And I'm like, that's great. This is great. It's a great book because it starts off one way, but as the letters go on and change, like it makes a lot of sense. And then it becomes really desperate where each of them is like, I have to die so that they can't find you. I don't want them to torture you. So I'd rather die first. And everyone's like, no. I don't want you to die. I think there's a way we can beat them doing this. And it's going back and forth until one of them does get caught and dies. Because one of them has to poison the other one. But before she does, she leaves a secret letter saying, don't read my next letter because I have to put poison in it. But the other one reads it because she realizes if she doesn't read it and die, then they'll know that the one didn't betray her and they'll kill her. It's this like loop and cycle of each of them doesn't want the other to get hurt to the point where one of them has to die, which drives the other one to figure out that she has to go way back and basically immunize her against the poison.
That's the beauty of time travel, right? You can always find
and that's why it's smart that they don't really explain how it works. There is never really any technical breakdown of it. You don't even know what the war is. It's a war that's already started before the book starts, and it's never explained. It's just matter. It's like 1984. Yeah, it doesn't. It's all about the characters. And that's what makes it work. So there's an image, though. There's a point where one of them is, because in the book there's multiple Atlantises. They're all different in each of these timelines. Sometimes they're goofy, sometimes they're not. Romeo and Juliet is alternately always a comedy or a horror, or I guess a tragedy. And so they're kind of, in the one age, it's like, I think I like it better when it's a tragedy. But it's kind of funny when it's a comedy, too. Which, shit like that is the fun part of the multiverse they kind of sprinkle. But there's one part where one of them is bored and she's in a timeline where the God is technology. And she says this thing where she's got her arm, she's holding up her arm, and on the ends of her fingers are typewriter keycaps with DNA letters on them that she's clacking together to create some kind of techno magic. And as soon as I read that, I started drawing it. And I drew it inside of like 30 minutes. I had the image of this hand with these keycaps. And then as I went on, there's this whole thing where they're into birds. And so I put goose wings on it. And then I made a braided heart because they refer to the time streams as braids that they fray and reweave and tie together. So I made like an alternating red and heart braided heart. And then there's stuff about pomegranate. I guess pomegranate seeds are poison or something. I don't know. And so there's a whole thing about pomegranates at one point. So I made a pomegranate with an infinity symbol in between the seeds. And I just drew all this together because of this book. And I just kept adding to it because I kept reading it. There were all these elements that seemed interesting. So I'm going to put it on a shirt. So by the time this comes out, it'll be on a shirt that you can go buy. Wait, I'll send you the image of it, actually. Hold on. I have it here somewhere. Where did I put that? Oh yeah, here it is. Oh God, I have to go deep into the folder on this. But anyway, it's a really and the time lapse is up too on the both of the YouTube sites, so you can go look at the time lapse of it because like I put this all together over time. But the book's really good because, like I said, when it starts, you think it's going to be one thing. It seems like it's just going to, and that would have been fine. I'm not saying that like it's bad. I actually think that would have been an interesting book to see if one of them actually, quote unquote, won. Yeah. But instead it becomes this romance where, at the end, you realize, oh no, that neither of these two is going to really, how are they going to beat the empires that are now onto them? And that's what makes it interesting.
Well,
so I would recommend it.
If you become clever enough with the technology, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess.
Listen, at the end of the day,
the chat. Oh, it's in the chat. Okay, there it is.
It all becomes about the imagination of what you're willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, to some degree, like, oh yeah, that's funny. I like your little weedy heart thing.
Yeah, that's all from elements of the book.
Did you contemplate sending that to the author?
Well, I probably can now. I mean, I only finished it within the last week. Because I literally finished the book.
Because honestly, that's a really cool cover idea.
Yeah, I'll send it to him. I don't have any problem with that. Sure.
Probably one of the coolest covers you've done.
Yeah, and like I said, it started off, originally it was just that arm. And then as I read it, I was like, no, I have to add the wings. Oh, no, now I have to add the heart. Because it wasn't a romance at first. So I just did the arm because I'm like, oh, this is like this super techno agent. So
it's fun. It's cool. I like it. Yeah. I mean, listen, I hate letters in books, but it does sound very cool.
Yeah, and this, like I said, it's not entirely letters. So it's a letter, and then there'll be here's where she's figuring out where, because they're hiding the letters because they don't want anybody to find them. So there's all these really inventive ways. Because at one point one of them is in a world where it's all logging, like everybody's cutting trees, deforesting and everything. And she realizes that the rings of one tree look slightly different than they should. And that's when she figures out that the letter is buried within multiple concurrent rings of the tree and so she's like, I have to cut this tree apart. And so she's slicing the slices and looking for variances to put all the letter pieces together to form the actual full letter. It's shit like that, where each of the worlds starts to become a hiding place. It's like, well, where is it hidden? How is it hidden?
Yeah.
And then there's one where I think she has to ingest seeds and the flavors form the letters because their bodies are all modified. So they're not just humans. They're all fucking cyborg super things or whatever. And so like the flavors form letters. So she's eating it, but she has to eat it.
So it's like a weird synesthesia.
Yeah, and she has to eat it in a certain way so that the people who are monitoring her don't think it's unusual that she's eating, because one of them, eating is considered a extravagance, but she's already established that she does it, so it's not unusual that she's eating. But if she eats in a way that differs from the pattern of how she eats normally, they'll notice it. So she has to be slow, even though she really wants to read the letter. So she's like, I have to go slow. I have to deliberately eat at the pace I eat, or they will notice and they will know. It's like that. The whole thing is like that. So it's very clever. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's pretty short, just over 200 pages. There's an audiobook, which, it's a novella.
It's a novella, yeah.
Yeah. Even though they call it a novel, I think I blew right through it, so I think that's shorter. Whatever it's classified as, the audiobook has actually two readers that play each part, which I think is great. I would have had three to have one doing the exposition. I would probably
enjoy that as an audiobook.
Two of the people that were on the show that I was on had the audiobook, and they both said that the only problem is there was some mispronunciation of words, but that's just a reader thing. But they said the performances were
started. I mean, I told you when I did the third Takashi Kovacs book by Tantor Media. The first two books, there's a big thing in both those books. There's a big joke about how Kovacs' name, if you read it the way it looks on a page, it looks like it's Kovacs. But he makes jokes about how it's Slavic, so it's actually Kovac. So his name is Takashi Kovacs. And in the third book, he made that joke in the previous two, so he doesn't make that joke again in the third book. But then the guy reading the audiobook didn't realize that, so he calls him Kovacs the entire book, and it drove me goddamn crazy. I think it's the only time I've written a letter to a company being like, what the fuck? Come on, man. Wow. This is a major error.
Right.
Yes, it's unfortunate because otherwise the audiobook is great, but man, every time he says Kovacs, it just fucking grinds on me. So,
well, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I read it. I did not do an audiobook of it.
Sounds very clever.
Yeah. So
I love clever. I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see them ruin it as a movie.
I won't even. I don't think unless it gets rave reviews, I'm not even gonna bother because I just don't think it.
Are they making? Are they making a movie?
They're making one. The only thing that gives me any hope for it is that the author said that they were very, very clear on that they were not going to change any of the, because it's considered an LGBTQ, because it's two women. So, it's a gay novel now. Oh, they were very clear. They were like, we're not letting any of that get changed. This will not be adapted. So they're involved. So that's the only thing that might make it good. And if it's a limited run and they don't try to make it into some ongoing bullshit, then it could be good. It could be something where if they do 6 or 8 episodes and they break it up correctly, it could be very good. But it has to be that. If they try to make it some ongoing fuck it, it's done. I won't even bother. But if it's limited and it's a one-shot thing, like a dev style thing, all right, could be good. I could see it. And if they're involved and they're saying that they're going to make sure they don't fuck it up,
I mean, but here's the thing: writers on the movie set only have so much power.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You got to be so careful the way you do those movies.
There's 2 things that have to happen for me to watch this. One is it can't be more than one. It has to be limited. Period. Anything else, I don't care. I'm not watching it.
You're not watching it as a movie?
The reviews have to be good. Well, no, it's going to be a series. It says option for television.
A series. Okay.
Yeah. So that's they've optioned for television, but they don't say ongoing. They just said option for television. So if it's a limited event,
we'll see which studio gets it.
Yeah, I mean, like Apple TV might do it, or like Hulu did Devs, and it was very good, and they put all the money into it, so it can be done. So again, if those 2 things are if
sir,
it's limited and the reviews are good,
I wish you the best in this. I will check out the audiobook because it sounds interesting. But I
would say as a book, it's very entertaining, and it's a pretty quick read. And I thought it again because I'm not a big fan of the letters thing either.
Yeah,
I think the only time I've liked that was Frankenstein. That was the only one where I've reread that, and I'm like, that's okay.
I remember when I was reading Bram Stoker's Dracula. I hated it, but it was so funny because that one letter when Harker is like, and then I pulled out my Bowie knife, my Gurkha, and I almost, Dracula's afraid of his big knife. I mean, I was just very silly. Anyway.
Well, what they really should have done is had Keanu Reeves narrate that in his accent for the, because that would have been, I pulled out my Gurkha and I saw Dracula recoil in fear.
Yes.
That would have been great with that terrible, terrible accent he does.
Yeah, and plus Dracula comes off terrible in the book. I mean, I was talk about, kids not liking the classics. I was explaining to my daughter what the book was like. Because my daughter is like, oh, Dracula? It's a horror novel? It's like, oh my God, I bet it's like so fucking crazy. And I was like, well, actually, and I was explaining how like it's all letters and Dracula's actually not that powerful and it's really not that, like, it's not that scary, really. It's not really a horror. I mean, it's a horror because it was one of the first real monster novels. It's like, and they were like, oh, okay. And they were so put out. And it's like, I mean...
It's interesting to consider what Bram Stoker would make of what vampires and Dracula specifically are often seen as now. I would be curious what his
I think it's because people want grotesque, thriller, gory horror, Well, I think that what used to scare people doesn't scare people anymore. And when you read the classics...
it's partially that, but I also think people really like the idea of the charismatic, they would say slightly, like the bad boy super guy.
He's not charismatic in the book at all.
He's not, but then when they made the Bela Lugosi one, he's kind of like the sexy, scary guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Like Bela Lugosi is a sex symbol.
The first sexy Dracula?
Yeah, he's the one that you would automatically, the universal...
Nosferatu is
he's
not
the universal,
sexy Dracula.
The universal Dracula. Universal Dracula is Bela Lugosi, the one where he's got the widow's peak and the cape.
Yeah.
Not Nosferatu. Nosferatu
we can't make Nosferatu sexy.
Monstrous. No, I'm not saying. Well, they did
in the books. Dracula is not sexy, nor is he Nosferatu. Like he's just.
But that's what people want.
He comes off very like middle management vampire, honestly.
No, they want Gary Oldman young Dracula, not Gary Oldman hanging from the rafters Dracula.
Yeah.
The one from the rafters is the Bram Stoker one, except the weakling. The one, well, I mean, he does get stabbed to death pretty quickly in that movie too. But the one that's stalking her around and he's like, "I've crossed oceans of time to find."
He's got the little sunglasses. Yeah,
the tiny little sunglasses.
But the thing, it's funny how
stick
these
figure
things
porn theater
evolve into this whole other franchise, and then you sit there and you show. I mean, you show them the originals, and they're like, "Oh, that's not really scary."
No, it's not, because it was never supposed to be.
Yeah.
Not the way we think of it now, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Frankenstein. People who read Frankenstein, who love Frankenstein movies, are often let down.
Yes.
It's a whole different fucking story, like it's...
Well,
it's
look,
not...
I mean, Kenneth Branagh's was pretty close to the book, and it did not do well.
No, it didn't.
It did not, but that's a pretty accurate...
You know what, listen, different
version.
Crowds. The crowd that wants to read the book and the crowd that wants to go to the movies is a different crowd.
This is very, very true.
So,
speaking of people watching movies, but hold on.
200 hours later.
Are we really at 200 hours? Well, look at that.
We are indeed at 200 hours. And that is where we will segue into the movie that we watched together.
Thanks for killing my mom.
Just give me the fucking juice. Yeah.
I have to work that in. I forgot.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice.
The juice. Give me the juice.
Anyway, yeah. I have to intro it. That's right. You want me to intro him the whole time. All right.
Oh yeah, because you're so much better at this.
Well,
but
I mean, this is a pretty easy one to intro.
Yeah, but all you have to really say is this is a cheap Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. Well, this is a mid-level. We watched the cheapest of all Lethal Weapons. There is the regular Lethal Weapon, and then this, which is what you would consider the target Lethal Weapon. Yeah.
So before Joe gives you the juice of it, we watched Samurai Cop, which apparently cost about $7,000 to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then we watched Action USA. This is the movie we watched, Action USA, which cost $1 million to make. Right. And then we looked, because both of those were really riffing on Lethal Weapon, we looked to see how much Lethal Weapon cost. Now, Lethal Weapon, I think when it was made, cost $11 million. Is that what we said?
That's not 11 or 15. I don't remember the exact number.
Give me 1 second. I just want to confirm it so we have the numbers right. Oh my!
Is it 11 or 15?
Typing sucks.
15.
It's 15. There
15.
you go. Okay, so 15 million, right? So
made, by the way, 120. So a success. Clearly.
Yeah, I know. So the thing is, to take these three movies, you really it would be an amazing film class to watch these three movies, which are all playing on a similar theme. You've got a same dynamic. You've got a white cop who knows martial arts or knows how to fight. You've got a black cop who is in the suit and kind of whines about, how he needs the help. And I mean, I don't know if the samurai cop guy complains about how he's too old for this shit.
No, but they're both the straight men in comparison to the white lead.
So like the relationship between the two is very similar across all three movies. And so you realize that they're all riffing on that Lethal Weapon dynamic. Except you see what different directors have done with the amount of money that they've had. And I'm not saying that the samurai cop guy with $15 million could make Lethal Weapon. But I'm just saying that he tried to make Lethal Weapon for, a variation on it at $7,000. And Action USA tried to do it with $1 million. And Action USA is not a bad movie. It's actually quite fun. But it still falls short of Lethal Weapon, which has better actors, a better budget.
Except in one area.
What's that?
Which is this one. There are way more and bigger explosions in Action USA than anything.
No, actually, and I will say something else. I do think that the woman in Action USA is genuinely a lovely human being. Like, she's beautiful. And I've realized that, like, so we watched this movie and then I went away. I'd been traveling for a bit, and I forgot this movie. to some extent. And then you know what? I was thinking about, I was like, what are we working on tonight? And I remembered her right away. And then that just like queued up the rest of the movie. I was like, yeah, you know what? I was like, she's the girl. I don't even know her name. I don't even know if she did any more movies, but she is.
Barry Murphy is the actress's name.
Yeah,
she did 8 films total.
She is
mostly
easy.
TV.
She's easy on the eyes, and she's not a damsel in distress. I mean, she throws a fucking gasoline bomb at one point at somebody. So yeah, I found this movie to be quite enjoyable. I think I said to you at some point when we were watching it that this was like a ton of B movies I watched when I was a kid, which is that they were like fun to watch. They weren't necessarily bad. They just weren't necessarily great. You know, they weren't $15 million great. They were $1 million great. You know, so it's like not the same class of writing, not the same class of actors.
No.
You know, very often they're using stunt guys for secondary characters.
Yes.
You know, but they put their money into the stunts. So you got a lot of explosions, a lot of chase sequences, and you know.
Yeah, there's some great stunts and great explosions.
And honestly,
the pacing's very good.
The credit sequence they did where you get to see the stunt guys doing stuff as well.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I was like, that actually made the movie. It made the movie far more endearing than it was before that, which is weird to have the credit sequence actually make me feel more kind of like, oh yeah, you know, this was a fun movie.
Well, that's a very common thing for Hong Kong action films. That's the interesting bit. Is that's very common with Hong Kong films. Is they'll do all the stunts. Like Jackie Chan movies are famous for that as well. They'll show all the big stunts, usually how they went wrong or how it got
They'll
messed
show
up.
all the ways that Jackie Chan almost died.
Jackie Chan almost died. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's a very common Hong Kong thing where they will show the kind of big action moments. The Iron Angels films do that. So yes, that was great because you do see, you see the people driving the cars. So I'm pretty sure that the guy in the beginning who's the boyfriend is in fact a stunt driver because he's driving the car and she looks like she's in the car for some dangerous stuff. They're flying helicopters really close to buildings in low areas where they could easily have
when the guy's hanging out of it, yeah.
And it's that guy. You can see him. I mean, you can see the harness, but still he's hanging out. If something breaks, he's dead.
And that's the kind of movie it is. They did hang a guy out of a helicopter. Yes, he had a harness attached to the foot of the helicopter. But he was still hanging out the side of the helicopter. Nonetheless,
and they tried to hide it pretty well.
They tried to hide it, and listen, it's like, but he was still hanging at the side. They didn't do it on the ground with like bad green screen.
No,
they're like, fuck it.
Freddie Mercury Danzig human growth hybrid that's in the movie.
Yeah, they're like, we'll put a harness belt on him, we'll strap him on there, and then we'll do a few miles, and it's like, hey, listen, I wouldn't want to be that guy. And then, you know what? They drop him into a lake. They definitely dropped a person into the lake. It wasn't a dummy. It wasn't a CG fall. They dropped a guy into the lake. So it's like they're doing the stunts. They're trying to entertain.
Somebody jumped out of the window of a building and dropped a long ways. It was a person. Yeah. You can tell. Yeah. That was a long fall, man.
Yeah.
So, it was probably 10 or 12 stories up.
I like the leads. Yes, I know that they're variations on Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, but I like the leads. What's hilarious is the guy who's supposed to be Mel Gibson. That's the
Gibson
demon
cop.
Brother from fucking.
That's Tommy from Hack-O-Lantern.
Tommy from Hack-O-Lantern. So when he showed up, I was totally expecting some real crap acting, and then he turns out to be great at this. So it's like, I know he's very good.
No, I told you in the commentary, I'm like, I've seen him in several things now, and he's very good, and he's still working. So he's clearly not a nobody shit actor.
He's just not great in Hack-O-Lantern.
I may see if I can interview that guy. That would be fun. I think it'd be fun to talk to somebody who's done these type of movies.
It never hurts to ask.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about the movie, except that it's a lot of fun. There are some really great stunt sequences, which is because if it was just a boring Lethal Weapon clone, then there's nothing to it. If it's literally just a low budget version and that's all it is.
No, because it is actually.
There's nothing to say about it.
I mean, it got boycotted in Texas because the the Danny Glover character, who's apparently a comedian. He is a comedian. He had some pretty good one-liners, and one of them was he says something like, "Great, another fucking day in Texas," or something like that. And then I guess Texans got fucking annoyed about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, one of the themes of the movie is they can't seem to get the fuck out of Texas. And listen, there is stuff to talk about because the two hitmen have a really weird bromance in this. Like they bring in like an out-of-state fucking hitman. He's dressed as a cowboy, and then him and the other older hitman. Yeah, him and the other older hitman like get in the car and like they start talking, and you're like, holy shit! They're like, these two really dig each other. Like,
yeah,
if there should have been a subplot with the two of them running away together afterwards, being like, hey, we should go into business together and go kill people all over the world together. Like, I would have been surprised.
Well, I think that's what they say they're going to do when they finish this job. They say something about going off and doing adventures together or something.
Yeah,
it is. They set up an interesting triangle on both sides of the fence because you have the three good people, which is the woman and the two cops, and then you have the two main bad guys and their dumpy sidekick, who basically he's like Steve Buscemi in Big Lebowski, where they just keep talking shit to him, like, you're out of your element, whatever your name is, Larry. But the two of them, they immediately, the one guy, the kind of grizzled guy,
the older hitman,
doesn't like Drago, who's dressed like the most stereotypical Western cosplayer you've ever seen. And the guy's like, what the hell are you dressed as? I was like, hey man, I'm in Texas, so I'm dressing like I'm a cowboy. And then they start comparing prisons. And as it's going on, I'm like, okay, these two are just going to take out their dicks, right? I mean, the first time I watched this, I really thought that they were going to start wrestling.
Mine leans to the right. Mine leans to the right too. We must be long lost lovers.
And we both have a mole in the shape of a dick on our dicks. We're going to be pals forever or more. Let's go. Because you really could see these two becoming lovers, and it would perfectly fit from the way they talk to each other.
No, it isn't out of the ordinary at all with the level of bromance you got between those two.
No, and each of them, the woman tries to come on to them, and they each are like, nope, I can see through that.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, buddy. What do you think, I'm an idiot? Like,
yeah. And also, sorry, you're not my voltage. I'm going to go talk to Drago.
I love Drago.
In the bathroom
Drago is my juice.
Yeah, sure is. So yeah, they're great, even though they're awful. I mean, the dialogue is terrible from them, but they're so into it that it sells it because they're overacting so much that it makes it all work. And the weird, like you said, there is this sexual attraction between the two of them that is impossible to ignore.
You know what? They're just so into each other and then instantly become a couple. And then the two of them basically like keep dumping on the third guy. We're like, suddenly he's just, you don't understand, like the two of us. Like, we are instantly a team. You can fuck off. Like, it's
well, he is the literal straight man that does not fit.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is the other two of them are like on the same wavelength. They have found, kind of like in the book, they have found the other person who understands what they're doing, and eventually, where that's going to end up in. It's just, I mean, literally, Drago at one point is like, "Here, use my giant gun." Like he's giving him his massive weapon to hold and to use. Like, okay, the subtext is very clear right here. I know what's going on, and it's great.
Yeah,
it works.
So that is different for a movie like this to have like actual villains with names and personalities. Like, yeah,
that are very, very. They're a really good mirror of the main two good guys. Who obviously, they have this whole history, but it is the absolute Lethal Weapon template. Whereas the two bad guys they are a long lost couple who has finally found each other, and that is what's riveting about them.
Yeah, so when you're not with the leads and you're with the villains, it is amusing to watch because you're like, whoa, these two, what are they up to?
And you get a lot of time with them. It's not like they only show them for a couple of scenes. You get a good amount of time where they're strategizing, talking, doing all this stuff.
They're trying to figure out where they've gone. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're having fun. That's the other thing, is they're not just hardcore assassins. The guys who come, like the replacement killers of the replacement killers. They're not just grim and gritty. They're like, oh shit, there they are. Let's get them, hoss. And they spin the fucking car around. They're going, yeehaw. And they're shooting all over the place. And they're having a ball. Yeah. Because, when you find the person of your dreams, life becomes a lot better. Yeah. So I understand why they're happy.
Do what you love. Love what you do. Yeah.
They're basically taking a honeymoon together. So good for them.
It's kind of sad they don't. It's kind of sad they don't get to get away. Like, it'd be funny if they the two of them somehow like did, because they're contract. So it'd be interesting if they got to the end and somehow they just did their contract and they were like, okay, you know what, we're out of here, and they just get to like ride off into the sunset.
What would have been clever, beyond what this movie's aspirations were, but you remember at the end of The Rocketeer when the mob guy realizes, along with the
fucking
feds,
hate
that
Nazis too.
He's like, I'm still an American, right? And they start shooting it. If Drago hadn't known he was working for a Fed, and when they realize who hired them, they turn on him and help the other guys kill him, and then they're basically like, all right, we're going our separate ways. Sorry about that, but we both got fucked by the same guy. You go your way, we're going ours, and they just drove off in opposite directions. I would have been fine with that. I would have had no issue with it. And I could see that being the ending, because basically at the end, the cops are leaving with the diamonds and the girl. They're like, screw it, we're leaving, because, the whole apparatus that hired us, because the one guy's like, I'm doing the same job forever, and it's never going to be what I want it to be, and the other guy's completely disillusioned, so it doesn't matter. So that ending would have made complete sense, but this movie was not aiming that high.
No,
that would have been a step
this
more
is
clever.
A $1 million late night action movie. No.
Yes.
It's amazing you got as well-written villains as you did.
You are correct that and the stunts are what put this above what it should be.
Because the thing is, you get this one pair of villains in the beginning who are really generic, which is the Freddie Mercury lookalike and the other guy, right? And they're very generic. And if they had been the villains through the whole movie, it wouldn't have mattered. But they get fucking destroyed early on, and they bring in
Freddie
this other
Mercury
pair.
gets shot pretty quick, and the other guy
gets,
when he's chasing them, doesn't make the jump that they shouldn't have made, but they make it, and he doesn't. That's all.
So when they bring these guys in, then it's like, oh wow, it's like, okay, and I love it.
Oh yeah,
doesn't Drago fly his own plane in and then like carry it?
Yeah,
on, like on wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an airliner that you see, and then a guy gets out and they're sure it's him because he's like in a black suit with black sunglasses. Yeah. And then that plane taxis off, and there's this little plane, and he gets out, and it's like a Rocketeer plane. Yeah. It's like a 50s plane, a little BG or whatever. And he gets out, and he like wheels it himself. He picks it up and kind of wheels around. He's like, hey there, boys. Name's Drago. How's it going? It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the thing is because it's almost as if they knew that, Did
you ever see Any Which Way But Loose?
Any Which Way But Loose, yeah, of course.
The fist fighting movie with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
There's two of them, but you know that there's the one there where he's going to box the Italian guy, who's actually the bad Fed from this movie.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, but in that movie, he's supposed to fight that guy, and when he shows up, they kind of talk him up, and when he shows up, he's actually incredibly polite and kind of funny, and you actually do like him, and you know that it's inevitably these two are going to have to kick the shit out of each other, right? Yeah. You know that this is the adversary, but they handle him in such a, interesting sort of likable way. So it's like, honestly, I feel like that actor gets a little shortchanged in this movie.
He does.
He's capable of more, but whatever.
Yes.
It's $1 million Lethal Weapon.
It does. It feels like they knew they had to do the main cops the way that they had to be done, and so they wanted to have fun with the bad guys. And the bad guys are
fun
in many ways. The more fun weird characters because they're surprising.
When they go to the cowboy bar and they basically mug a couple of cowboys for their hats. Yeah, because they're like, we got to look like natives. We got to look like Drago, and they start mugging people for their hats. Yeah. And then I think he wears that hat.
It's great.
Beyond that.
No, he keeps it until he dies. Yeah, he's got it on until he dies. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I actually really enjoyed this, and I think that if you are somebody who likes movies, I think it is worth seeing this along with Samurai Cop and Lethal Weapon, and to understand, like, basically all the components of what a budget brings to a movie.
It does highlight, too, what most people saw as the successful elements and tried to copy. Because it is kind of the basic template. White cop, black cop, roguish cop, straight edge cop.
Yeah, and then you had
stunts. That's the basic template.
Stunts and car chase.
Well, but then each of them tries to do something to make themselves different. Now in Samurai Cop, it's making him a, quote, samurai cop, which goes nowhere because it's
and then theoretically no woman can withstand him, yeah.
That too. which, sure. And then in Action USA, I think it's to make the bad guys far more interesting. Because in Lethal Weapon, in the first movie, the bad guys are largely forgettable. I mean...
Except for Gary Busey being a maniac.
Because he's Gary Busey, but that's not really the character. That's the actor and the way he did things. Whereas Drago feels written as that, as to be an interesting character.
He's kind of this fascinating, he's a...
Yeah, I don't know that Mr. Joshua was in fact as interesting as Gary Busey made him.
Yeah,
or if he was just a stock heavy.
Yeah, but then Gary Busey elevated it to Busey levels.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. So... That I don't know, but I suspect that Gary Busey
added. Are you saying that you think the villains from the $1 million Lethal Weapon are better than the $15 million Lethal Weapon?
I absolutely. Oh no, I'm not even joking when I say that, because I remember that I don't remember anything of the villains in Lethal Weapon except for Gary Busey.
They were all. It was nameless villains, and then there was the business guy, and there was Gary Busey. That's all I remember.
I don't remember the business guy at all.
That's not true. You know what I remember? I remember the guy from Big Trouble in Little China electrocuting Mel Gibson.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember. Yeah, but that was kind of a.
But only because I saw him and I was like, "Hey, that's the guy from Big Trouble in Little China. He's gonna torture Mel Gibson now."
Right, but I don't remember any of the Mel Gibson. Or I don't remember any of the Lethal Weapon villains. I remember a lot of Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. I remember their scenes. I can remember them. I can't remember anything of the villains. Nothing.
Hold on, Yeah. I do remember the villains, but I only remember them for like certain lines. Like, okay, for the first one, I remember Gary Busey because they set him on fire and he was a maniac. And then the second one,
Gary Busey, yes. Everybody else, no.
The second one, I remember the older guy being like diplomatic immunity, and then the other guy who was kind of the assassin one. I remember there's a great line where he's being yelled at by the main villain, and he keeps. I have some
bad news for you, buddy.
What's that?
Diplomatic immunity is not the first film.
Oh, it's the second one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about specifically the first movie.
I was talking the villains across all three.
Oh, of course. Everybody remembers diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, and then the guy in the second one, the guy
that's
keeps
the guy who's the Russian diplomat from Hunt for Red October. Of course,
I know,
that guy is very
but his underling is the assassin who keeps looking at the floor when he's being yelled at, and the diplomatic immunity guy's like, "What are you?"
Is a lot more fun.
He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just making sure I'm not standing on plastic." I always remember that line. I'm just making sure I'm not standing on plastic.
Yeah,
so
it's a great line.
Free
South Africa, you dumb son of a bitch. I remember a lot of it too.
Yeah, and in the third one, then I just remember they wanted to have like an evil Mel Gibson as the villain, essentially.
Yeah.
But
from the first one, I only remember Gary Busey and like you said, the torture sequence. That's it.
No, because they dispatched the rest of them, and then it's Gary Busey versus Mel Gibson on the lawn. You know what? Yeah. And I've never thought of Gary Busey as a fucking military action actor.
No. It doesn't work. It's his weird performance that makes you like it. It's not that it makes any sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? I don't exactly think of when you watch Under Siege. Gary Busey is not scary at all. Tommy Lee Jones is fucking scary in that movie.
Yeah. No, Gary Busey makes the most sense in Predator 2 because he's an idiot. He's a very arrogant, uninformed moron.
With an ice gun. With an ice gun, yeah. But that's what I'm saying is, yes, I'm saying with seriousness that the villains of Action USA are better than Lethal Weapon's villains. That is a reason for people to check it out.
I agree.
But I did enjoy it.
It's a very fun 90 minutes.
I don't think you need to see Samurai Cop. It's not a good movie. I think Action USA is a fun action B movie. It is genuinely fun, and it just genuinely have some weird elements that are fascinating. And
very,
it doesn't
very good stunts and pyrotechnics. Very good.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, which is why it can have fun.
Yes.
But if you are someone who likes film, it is interesting to see all three of these because it shows you where the money goes.
Well, and the good news is that both Samurai Cop and Action USA, if you're so inclined, can be watched in a million places for free. You do not have to pay a dime for them. So it's very, very easy to watch them.
No, you know what? I would pay. I don't know how much I would pay to see Action USA. How much would I pay for that?
I would pay $10 for that.
I'd pay $5.
I because I am more into this stuff, I would pay 10, and I would not feel that was
what?
Unreasonable.
I paid money so my kids and I could see the new Jurassic Park movie, and I regret it. Yeah. I regretted it.
How much
within
did you
about
pay for that?
fucking
20?
5 minutes of that movie. It's because we had
that
a coupon. We
$20
paid $20.
Oh.
Only because
All
we
right.
had a coupon.
So
Otherwise, it would have been 30.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
If you paid $10 for Action USA, would you have regretted it?
I wouldn't have regretted it. No.
Then it's worth
But
it.
listen. But let's be very clear. I would have paid $5 to watch it by myself. I'd paid $10 because I was to watch it with you.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
But like,
What
no,
I'm saying is,
the second that fucking Snickers wrapper fucking floated into that door, I was like, fuck this movie and the money I spent on it. So, but no, I would spend $5 in Action USA.
Your money was along with that Snickers wrapper sunk into nothing.
Which is otherwise, like, I wouldn't pay to see Samurai Cop. Like,
No,
you know.
I agree. I would not tell anybody to spend money. I would say that
watch it for free or don't watch it at all.
Action USA, if it was $10, I would say if you are okay with watching a B movie, not even a bad movie, a B movie, because I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just a B movie.
Yeah,
I would say there's enough stunts and interesting characters that's worth $10.
Movie. It's got a sexy lady in it. It's got good stunts. It's got some decent like comedic elements. It's got some weird villains. You know, it's a movie.
Yeah,
it's an action movie from the 90s.
Actually, I'm curious about something. Yeah, the Blu-ray is $15.
Of Action USA.
Of Action USA. Yeah.
There's a Blu-ray?
There is.
Some of these movies, I'm like, man, they did a high-def version of this? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, for people like me, I think it's worth it.
I wonder how much it made. Hold on one sec. Let's see if Action
I
USA
don't think it
is a bigger success than Lethal Weapon. Now, remember, it's how much you make versus how much you spent. That was the thing that Kevin Smith said. It's the ratio.
This is true.
Where do we find Action USA?
All right, I'm going to have to buy the Blu-ray.
Why is that?
There's a commentary with Gregory Scott Cummins. Yeah, okay.
Which one's
That's
him?
worth it. He's a Hack-O-Lantern.
Oh, God.
Hack-O-Lantern did a commentary.
That's funny.
That's great.
Hold on. How much did it make? Okay, listen. You know what?
Did it make anything? Did it?
It did make... Hold on. It did make money. I'm trying to see the ratio here. Hold on.
That's great.
Oh, no. You know what? The
Oh,
provisional budget for this movie was $560,000. This movie wasn't even made for $1 million. This movie was made for $500,000.
Was that marketing?
No. It was actually made for $500,000. That was an incorrect number.
Well, there you go.
So how much did it make? Hold on.
They spent it all on squibs.
Good for them.
They spent most of it on squibs. That's fine.
Hold on. I'm looking to see if there's
Well, that makes me more impressed because
they
did some great stunts for $500,000 and they had good people.
God damn it. Give me some fucking... No, I'm not finding any money for it.
Well, I seriously doubt it actually made money because at the time it came out, I'm sure it was seen as a Lethal Weapon clone.
Okay, Action USA, a stuntman turned director, directs a movie built entirely around stunt set pieces. This is John Wick.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's great. Hey, maybe they got to get the John Wick guy to remake it.
They put all the money into the stunts.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, but
that's great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for that amount of money, I wouldn't be surprised if it made its money back in kind.
I hope it did. I think it is a perfectly fun film.
I just wish, I wish I knew how much it made.
Yeah. Well.
And shot in 18 days.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm not entirely shocked, but that's impressive.
That's pretty good. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I do not dissuade anybody from seeing this. It's a fun action B movie from the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, if you like Lethal Weapon and you want more movies like Lethal Weapon, because the Lethal Weapons movies do devolve as they go on. Yeah, it's the same time period, same dynamic. It's just different, and like I said, the fact that it makes sense now that a stunt guy directed it because it is so stunt heavy.
And like I said, you can watch it for free. So there's really no good reason not to.
Free is hard to argue with.
It's hard to beat, especially because it is
honestly,
an entertaining film.
This is a double free night too, so you can read Space-Mullet for free online.
Yeah,
and you can watch Action U.S.A. for free online. So
yeah, I linked to the comic, so you'll go right to his thing.
Worst part of tonight is the thing that costs the most fucking money.
You pay the most for, and don't pay for it. Don't do it.
So
don't do it.
In review, read Space-Mullet. Don't watch the new Jurassic Park. Definitely read what was the name of your book.
This is How You Lose the Time War.
Definitely read that book and check out Action USA. Get a few drinks in you, sit down with YouTube. Yeah. You know what? I think this is a movie you can watch on your phone as well. Like if you're bored and you're just doing nothing, and you're stuck somewhere, just start watching it in a waiting room.
Sure.
I don't think you need a big screen for this movie. I'm not calling it a second screen movie. I'm just saying that it won't detract.
No, I think it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm okay with that.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, sir, I leave it to you then.
Well, that's it, everybody. We've given you plenty of good options and one terrible one to avoid. So, on that note, like I said, I've linked to the comic for free. You can read it right online, and it's a good copy. I mean, it's digitally done. It's not one of these shitty scan jobs. It's on his site, so that's official.
Yeah,
he put it there, so don't feel bad about that at all. You're fine. And then Samurai Cop for the specific audience member who wants it. We've already said that's free, but the one that we would probably both recommend for more general audiences who might want to see a different take with a little less money on the Lethal Weapon formula, Action USA. Can be watched anywhere. And in a rare case of me saying, sure, watch it on your phone. Sure, watch it on your phone. On that note, is there anything else? No, that was it. So that's it. We're getting out of here while we ended on good things. So go enjoy your weekend, whatever you do. And we'll talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @OzoneNightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.